Chapter 226, Do you want to learn blade techniques? Within the Bank of the Universe, Seven was arranging contracts in the trading hall. Li Wuya didn't dare to receive Li Wuya. If he was noticed, then the plan he had kept a secret for so long would totally fail. So, Legacy Hall came to the Legacy Hall. There were many paper kites hanging. With a slight breeze, the kites would hit one another and give out a crisp sound. Li Wuya stood with his hands behind his back and waited for Tian Guangming to bring Li Wuya in. Tian Guangming knew that Li Wuya wanted to meet Li Wuya privately, so he was really careful in case Seven would find out. Fortunately, he didn't see Seven. In front of the Legacy Hall, Tian Guangming said to Li Wuya in a serious tone. Go in. Master is waiting for you. Li Wuya nodded his head and walked into Legacy Hall alone. It was different from the majestic and shining gold hall that Li Wuya imagined. The Legacy Hall was really old and there were many cracks around. Above him were many paper kites that gave off a crisp sound like they were welcoming Li Wuya. In the depths of the hall, there was a tall body. He was wearing a black cape and his back was facing him. Li Wuya immediately recognized him to be the owner of the Bank of the Universe. He was the master of Tian Guangming. Greetings, senior. Li Wuya said respectfully. Li Wuya turned around with a mask on and stared at Li Wuya with a calm gaze. You have entered the Bank of the Universe. You can trade anything. What do you want? Li Wuya knew about it, so he wasn't surprised. Senior, I want you to help me to wipe out Dalan Temple. Li Xiandao guessed it and asked, what price can you pay? In this world, there is a yin and yang. If you want something, you have to pay something. Dalan Temple is the top sect in ancient Buddha land. They are also supported by the Buddhism in the Nine Skies. Since you want me to wipe them out, what price can you pay? Li Xiandao said. Li Wuya straightened his back. God Spirit Meridian. How many? Li Xiandao asked. 10,000. Li Wuya raised one finger and said firmly. Where are they? Li Xiandao's expression didn't change and asked. In my body. Li Wuya said. Li Wuya looked at him in shock. He was not able to see that the 10,000 God Spirit Meridians were hidden in his body. My bloodline is really special and the Dalan Temple monk wasn't wrong. I am indeed like the son of the demon. My body has a dark space which can hide many things. Li Wuya revealed his secret before kneeling on the ground and looking at Li Xiandao. Mysterious and strong Bank of the Universe Master, I am willing to use 10,000 God Spirit Meridians in my life to invite you to kill Dalan Temple. Li Wuya said loudly. You want to sell your life to me? Li Xiandao asked. Yes. Tian Guangming is my master and if I don't want us to separate, I can only become your subordinate. That is something that he told me. Li Wuya exposed Tian Guangming without any hesitation. Li Xiandao wasn't surprised. It was normal for Tian Guangming to think that way. So, how big is that black space? Li Xiandao was more curious about it. This was because Dalan Temple's monks didn't discover that black space. Heavenheart and Lucifer didn't either. Even Li Xiandao himself didn't. This meant that Li Wuya's black space was really amazing and it was able to block off everyone's sensory abilities. When Li Wuya heard Li Xiandao's words, he thought about it. I don't know. You don't know how big your own space is. Li Xiandao was really curious. Li Wuya shook his head. My cultivation is too low. My parents weren't strong either and they tried to test it out for me but failed. So until now, I don't know how big the space is. Li Xiandao looked on in shock. There was something like this? But since it was able to fit 10,000 God Spirit Meridians, it had to be huge. Let me help you test it. Li Xiandao walked over slowly. Li Wuya immediately relaxed and didn't resist at all. He also wanted to know how big his space was. Hong. Li Wuya placed a hand on his head. He was 3 centimeters away and thick true qi surged in. Li Wuya felt his body shake. A warm sun rose up in his body and swept it all before entering his heart. At the border of his heart, there was a black spot. This was the black space. Li Xiandao's true qi surged in and it was like a cow made of dirt sinking into the ocean. One couldn't see the borders at all. Darkness. Demonic energy. So terrifying. Li Xiandao sensed a demonic energy surging in the space and it was extremely terrifying. Li Xiandao looked at him in shock. He didn't expect such a young kid to have such terrifying demonic energy. The old monk kept saying that Li Wuya was the son of the demon. It seemed like he was right. But he really shouldn't have killed Li Wui's family. That was just forcing Li Wui to take revenge. Senior, what happened? Li Wui looked at Li Wui in trepidation. Li Xiandao shook his head, nothing. What you might feel next will hurt a little. I am not afraid of pain. Li Wui was firm. Li Wui sent all his true qi into the black space. Scoff. Li Wui gritted his teeth and his entire body was shaking. He really felt a heart-drilling pain. But he took it and didn't shout out loud. Li Xiandao closed his eyes. The true qi surged in that black space. 100 miles. The first time he checked, Li Xiandao's senses reached 100 miles. He saw many god spirit meridians inside. But 100 miles wasn't the limit. It continued to stretch. 200. 300. 400. 500. At this moment, Li Xiandao stopped. He touched the border of the space. A full 500 miles. The 10,000 god spirit meridians took up 300 miles and there were 200 miles of free space. Unbelievable. Li Xiandao looked at Li Wui in surprise. This guy was a treasure. He was more precious than his master. At this moment, Li Xiandao felt that Tian Guangming had picked up a treasure by taking him as a disciple. It was fortunate that Tian Guangming amassed over 8 lifetimes. I will take the god spirit meridians out, so bear with it. Li Xiandao said calmly. Li Wui gritted his teeth and nodded his head. He was a determined person. Apart from death, everything else was a small thing. How could a man say that one was tired from a small matter? He would just grit his teeth and let it pass. Li Xiandao quickly removed the god spirit meridians. 000 god spirit meridians, 10 minutes. Li Wui's face turned white and he was devoid of energy. But this was the second time Li Wui felt that. The first time was when they were placed in. When Li Xiandao removed the final god spirit meridian, Li Wui fell to the ground. There was enough sweat on his body to form a river. Li Xiandao was impressed and he suddenly said, "Do you want to learn blade techniques?" Chapter 227, Personally Cooking. Li Xiandao asked Li Wui whether or not he wanted to learn blade techniques. Li Wui was stunned. Blade technique? He had just started cultivating and had been building his foundations. So, he had trained in all 18 types of weapons. Naturally, Li Wui had trained in blades before. But would he focus on the blade in the future? Li Wui thought about it and nodded his head firmly, yes. Li Xiandao smiled and then his right hand changed. A giant broad blade appeared. The blade body was a mix of black and silver light and it was 2 meters long. There was a handle in the middle. There was a door-like broad blade at the front and a sharp blade at the back. It was a special blade. Li Xiandao held the middle portion and waved it. The surrounding air exploded and demonic energy surged. Overlord Blade, this is the name of this blade. An ancient legacy is hidden inside. Li Xiandao said calmly. Li Wui looked at it in surprise and fell in love with it right away. This weird-looking blade was just too handsome. It was both cool and handsome. Your body has a darkness space and there is thick demonic energy within. This Overlord Blade is suitable for you and you can go comprehend it. Li Xiandao reached out and passed it to him. Li Wui gulped, this is for me. Li Xiandao nodded, of course, you are my subordinate, so naturally, this is for you. Li Wui was really touched and didn't know what to say. He directly kowtowed for Li Xiandao. Peng peng peng. 3 loud heads smacked into the ground with no hesitation at all. Li Xiandao looked on really calmly. After Li Wui finished, he said, Master, I will use this Overlord Blade to sweep past all enemies. Li Xiandao nodded his head, rise. If you want it, then you need to sign the contract first. Clang. Li Xiandao stuck the blade into the ground and summoned a contract. He filled in the details of the contract really seriously. Seven was the one in charge of this in the past, but Li Xiandao did it himself now. He really missed having Seven by his side. The contract was written really quickly and Li Xiandao passed it to Li Wui. If you have no problems, then sign it. I will. Li Wui clearly remembered everything that his master told him. Once master hands you the contract to sign, you need to do so without hesitation. You don't have to worry about the details as you are signing it anyway. Based on what Tian Guangming said, all of this showed his loyalty to Li Xiandao. This was why Li Wui learned from him, signing without saying a word. Li Xiandao looked at him and said, after signing the contract, you are mine. Take the blade and go find your master. Comprehend it. There is a really terrifying blade technique within. It is really suitable for you. Li Xiandao added. Li Wei stood up and walked in front of the Overlord blade. He looked at it in absolute awe. This Overlord blade was too majestic. It was a perfect fit for his ideal image. Li Wei held it. The 100 kilogram weight caused him to stumble. He struggled but managed to carry it in the end. Leave. Your master is getting really nervous. Legacy Hall said calmly. He turned around and looked at the mountain peak behind Legacy Hall. Li Wei nodded his head respectfully and backed out of the hall. Outside the Legacy Hall, Tian Guangming was really nervous. He didn't dare to get within 300 meters of the main hall and just walked outside. 2 hours have passed already, so why is it so slow? Tian Guangming muttered. Based on previous trading times, Li Wei was the slowest. Did he offend master? Tian Guangming suddenly thought about a terrifying matter. No, master is so nice. I also instructed Li Wei, so he wouldn't be so foolish. Tian Guangming tried to ascertain himself. But Li Wei still didn't come out. Tian Guangming was so nervous and he couldn't calm down. Hais, I shouldn't have taken in this disciple. It is just so worrying. Tian Guangming was tired from walking and he sat down to rest. My disciple, why aren't you coming out yet? Tian Guangming sat for a while but he couldn't take it and continued to walk about. Tian Guangming paced back and forth 300 meters out. He wanted to walk nearer but was afraid of Li Xiandao, so he didn't dare to. But in the next second, a person appeared in front of him with a blade twice the size of him. Tian Guangming was delighted. His disciple was out. That's not right, this blade. Tian Guangming recognized it. Li Xiandao took it out many times in the Bank of the Universe. So, Tian Guangming and the others all knew about it, that Li Xiandao had a treasure in his hands. Master gave the Overlord blade to Li Wei. Tian Guangming sucked in a deep breath and nearly jumped up in excitement. Overlord blade. This was the Overlord blade with an ancient legacy. It was given to his disciple just like that. How could Tian Guangming not be surprised? Master! Li Wei shouted. Master gave you the Overlord blade. Tian Guangming asked emotionally. Li Wei smiled happily and nodded his head. Master said that I am suitable for it and he told me to comprehend the legacy within. Not bad, really not bad. Tian Guangming was so emotional he slapped Li Wei's shoulder. Let's go back home. You shall comprehend the Overlord blade and try to comprehend it fully soon. Tian Guangming said with excitement. He obtained a celestial artifact and his disciple got an Overlord blade. With the two of them working hard, they would take over from Heavenheart and the others and only Master would trust them. After Li Xiandao obtained the 10,000 God Spirit Meridians, he left the Legacy Hall. He returned and saw that Seven was still organizing contracts. So many? Li Xiandao asked. All of these are the ones from Eternal Land and Ancient Buddha Land. I removed those with the dead debtors. Some are still not due and some have been broken. Seven said. She was indeed a really responsible person. Li Xiandao saw how capable she was and smiled. Since you are so tired, I shall treat you to a meal. Seven rolled her eyes. You don't even need to eat. Even if Li Xiandao didn't eat for 10 years he would be fine. Li Xiandao explained, I will personally cook for you. Are you planning something? Seven stared at Li Xiandao warily. Li Xiandao smiled helplessly, I just want to thank you for your support. Really? Seven didn't fully believe him. Really? Tonight you and I, candlelight dinner. Li Xiandao nodded. What is a candlelight dinner? Seven was confused. There was no candlelight dinner in this world, so Li Xiandao didn't bother to explain either. See you tonight. I will go to prepare now. Is your food even edible? Seven was suspicious. Li Xiandao's face turned black. Do you think I am as unreliable as Tian Guangming? Chapter 228, Sister. Li Xiandao talked about his cooking. His skills were quite decent and he was definitely much better than Tian Guangming. This was the little bit of confidence that Li Xiandao had. But before cooking, Li Xiandao headed out. He used 300 God Spirit Meridians to redeem Seven's garden. It was night. Outside Seven's house, the stars blinked in the sky and scattered starlight on the ground. It shone onto the distant mountains, giving off a mysterious feel. Shooting stars crossed the skies. At this moment, Li Xiandao carried 2 plates of fragrant beef fried rice and passed them to Seven. Seven looked at it and smiled. "This is the dinner you are inviting me to eat." Li Xiandao said confidently, "Doesn't it look nice?" The rice grains were translucent and the beef was fragrant. There were also chives, vegetables, peppers, etc. Whether in terms of taste or appearance, it was top grade. "It does look good, but I thought that you would cook many dishes for me," Seven said. "Don't think too highly of my cooking. This beef fried rice is already me performing higher than normal. The thing I know how to cook well is fried rice." Li Xiandao didn't hide anything. "It does taste good." Seven ate a mouth and chewed. "I think it is quite nice too." Li Xiandao looked at Seven's face and at the stars. "You are behaving weirdly today." Seven looked at Li Xiandao and said. She sensed something. Li Xiandao was definitely doing something behind her back. As for what it was, Seven didn't know. Li Xiandao smiled and didn't hide it from her. "After we finish, I have a surprise for you." Seven looked at Li Xiandao and her heart jumped. Surprise? What was considered a surprise? "Right, I shall light this timber and this can be considered a candlelight dinner." Li Xiandao couldn't find any candles and could only use wood. Seven dissed, "Why do I feel like we are like farmers eating by a bonfire?" Li Xiandao's face turned black and he didn't know what to say. His candlelight dinner plan failed. 1 bowl of beef fried rice was finished really quickly. After Seven finished, she looked at Li Xiandao in anticipation. Li Xiandao reached out and blocked Seven. "Close your eyes." Seven closed her eyes as instructed. Li Xiandao waved his hands and a garden of flowers appeared in the sky. Many colored flowers shook in the wind. They came in all colors and lit up the night sky. Seven opened her eyes and looked on in surprise. She was filled with disbelief. "My flower garden?" "Right." Li Xiandao nodded. "When did you redeem it?" Seven asked in surprise. "Today." Li Xiandao said. "You hid it from me and told Tian Guangming, Heaven Heart and the rest to head out because of this." Seven was touched. "Just 300 God Spirit Meridians, I would definitely have gotten it back for you," Li Xiandao said firmly. Seven looked at Li Xiandao emotionally and then stared at her flower garden with watery eyes. "Let's go take a look. I have never seen those magical flowers before." Li Xiandao stood up and shook off the dust on his body. Seven flew up right away. The flowers were really beautiful, and the moment Li Xiandao entered, he saw a pure white snow lotus that should have been growing on snow mountains. It bloomed and was bigger than Li Xiandao's head. This was at least a 10,000-year-old snow lotus and it was really valuable. Li Xiandao saw a top-grade plum flower which gave off a fragrant scent. Li Xiandao also saw a twin lotus, 2 stalks connected together. It was extremely beautiful. The flowers in the garden were at least 10,000 years old. They were really bright and healthy. After just one glance, one would be dazzled, reluctant to shift one's eyes away. Seven happily ran around her garden. She personally grew all the flowers inside and now she had them back. As what Seven said, if she took one stalk out to sell, numerous people would fight for it. 300 God Spirit Meridians for it was totally worth it. "Thank you, Li Xiandao." A white pear flower away, Seven smiled and shouted loudly. Li Xiandao smiled and didn't say anything. He just quietly admired everything. Since he obtained the Bank of the Universe, Li Xiandao had never seen Seven so happy. 300 God Spirit Meridians in exchange for her happy smile, Li Xiandao felt that it was worth it. While Li Xiandao was picking up chicks, ancient Buddha land was in chaos. Dalan Temple had suffered heavy losses. Dozens of people had died, Transcendent Realm, Human Celestial Realm, and Legend Realm, many of them had died. The key was that a Legend Realm Stage 33 old monk had died too. This was the reason why they were in a mess. All those who died before couldn't even be compared to that old monk. The moment the old monk died, Dalan Temple's corona prophesized day and night to try to find the killer. But no matter how it tried, it only pointed to Eternal Land. The killer was from Eternal Land. As for the specific location, it had no idea and couldn't pinpoint it. Dalan Temple's bunch of old monks were gathered together with solemn expressions on their faces. "What should we do now?" a senior monk said. "We will fight fire with fire. We have controlled ancient Buddha land for 10,000 years and no one dared to offend us. We have hidden our strength such that this person dared to behave so arrogantly under our eyelids. How preposterous! A hot-tempered monk raged. Damo House first seat, it isn't time to be angry. We don't even know where he is. An old monk frowned. They are in Eternal Land. Damo House first seat pointed at the corona and said. Eternal Land is so huge and it isn't any smaller than our ancient Buddha land. Where will you go to find them? The old monk frowned. Then, what should we do? Damo House first seat raged. Our Damo House lost dozens of people and the disciples have died so tragically. Don't think about reducing the importance of the matter. The Damo House first seat stood up in rage. Sit down. Dalan Temple's chair monk hollered coldly. The Damo House first seat sat down and kept silent, fuming silently deep down. They are in Eternal Land but came to ancient Buddha land to save Li Wuya. This means that he holds Li Wuya in high regard. A monk added. But Li Wuya's family members were killed. Damo House first seat frowned. But Li Wuya's sister is suppressed by us in the slaughter tower. It's just that Li Wuya doesn't know. The monk in charge of it said. Send the news out. In 10 days, the daughter of the demon path will be punished by lightning. Send the news to Eternal Land. I don't believe that they won't come. Dalan Temple's main chair said coldly. Chapter 229, Seal Mountain Peak. At Eternal Land, in the bank of the universe, Li Xiandao was opening up a huge world. He had used 300 of the 10,000 God Spirit Meridians and he had 9,700 left. This was a huge number. If he used them to activate a celestial artifact, he would be able to refine and upgrade it. He would be able to bring out all the strength of the celestial artifact. Such a celestial artifact would easily kill someone at Legend Realm. However, Li Xiandao took the God Spirit Meridians and gave them to the heavens. He wanted to redeem the fourth mountain peak of the Bank of the Universe. The Bank of the Universe's first 3 peaks were the Time Hall, 10,000 Country Book Depository, and Legacy Hall. Each mountain peak had a strong use and it was really helpful in allowing Li Xiandao to grow. This was why Li Xiandao was looking forward to this fourth mountain peak. This fourth peak is the limit to what you can unlock. 7 said to Li Xiandao. 7 and Li Xiandao stood really close to one another. After yesterday's surprise, the two of them got closer to one another. Although 7 respected Li Xiandao in the past, she would choose to keep a cold distance. After last night's surprise, from today on, 7 would be much closer to Li Xiandao. Although they were still master and artifact spirit, at least saints treated Li Xiandao much better. Why is this my limit? Li Xiandao didn't understand. The remaining mountain peaks need a lot of energy to unlock them and they're not something that you would be able to collect. 7 explained. You can unlock the fourth peak with over 9,000 God Spirit Meridians but the fifth one will take more than 100,000. 7 said. Li Xiandao frowned, so exaggerated. It is just so exaggerated. You can slowly unlock the fifth mountain peak after you enter the 9 skies. 7 nodded her head. Li Xiandao nodded. He gave the 9,000 God Spirit Meridians to the heavens and waited quietly. Explosion. The entire bank of the universe was shaking. In the distance, one more mountain was being unlocked. A corner of the mountain appeared and many chains hung down from the clouds. The chains were so huge and each one would be able to lock up giant dragons and phoenixes. Li Xiandao looked on and waited quietly. He awaited the surprises that the fourth peak could give him. The shaking of the entire bank of the universe drew Heavenheart and the others out. All of them rushed to Li Xiandao's side to look at the changes. A giant mountain slowly appeared. It was enormous. It was a peak, but to all of them, it was a giant mountain. What is that? Tian Guangming asked curiously. Li Xiandao looked on and didn't reply. He didn't know what this was. In the distance, in the center of the area, a peak was squeezed out and with a thud, it took shape. We will find out what it is when we take a look. Li Xiandao stepped forwards calmly and his body instantly disappeared. Seal Mountain Peak. This was the information that Li Xiandao got when he stepped onto the mountain. The others all used their skills to climb the mountain peak. The peak was a seal mountain peak. The entire mountain peak was covered in seals. For example, Li Xiandao had a fire god seal in front of him. He learned from it and after carving it, a ball of flames appeared. Li Xiandao said in shock, the seals were an instantiation of the Dao. He carved it out in the form of a seal that was visible with the naked eye. As long as one drew it out, one would be able to replicate this Dao. A Dao that could draw out a ball of heaven and earth flame. On these majestic mountains, there were many seals. At this moment, Li Xiandao felt really fortunate that this peak was so practical. This peak alone was worth many peaks. It contained a large number of Daos. You can search for one that allows you to teleport through space. 7 came to the peak and said. Right, space crossing seals are really important. Li Xiandao nodded and he nearly forgot about it. I remember that there was one in the past at the bottom of the peak. You can go search for it. 7 thought about it and couldn't recall the exact location. She couldn't exit the bank of the universe, so she naturally wouldn't care about space crossing seals. Li Xiandao searched for it and tried it one after another. The others all came to the mountain. Lucifer and Heavenheart were together while Battle Angel Michael and Archangel Gabriel were together. Moon Angel Yuzuna and Wu Xianer were together while the old priest was alone. Tian Guangming led his disciple Li Wuya. This thing is really complicated. Tian Guangming suddenly noticed a seal and started to draw it out. Li Wuya looked on from the side. This, and then that, and then this, Tian Guangming drew it out with his fingers. He used his true qi to draw it and many complicated starlights appeared in front of him. What seal is that? Tian Guangming was confused. He drew it out but why did nothing happen? Master, this restriction seems a little problematic. Li Wuya reached out and pushed it. Hong! Li Wuya's body suddenly disappeared. Disciple. Tian Guangming wiped his eyes and realized that his disciple was gone. A big disciple was gone just like that. Tian Guangming looked around and still didn't find Li Wuya. Disciple. Tian Guangming shouted loudly. Shut up. Li Xiandao teleported here and frowned. He scolded him right away. Master, my disciple has disappeared. Such a big disciple is gone because of this seal. Tian Guangming said anxiously. Your disciple teleported to the time hall, so go bring him over. This seal is the space-crossing teleportation seal. Not bad, you found it by accident. Li Xiandao looked at it and memorized it. When Tian Guangming heard that his disciple was fine, he ran to the trading hall to bring Li Wuya over. Master, why can't we choose the location for the teleport? Tian Guangming was confused. He casually drew it and he was teleported to the trading hall. If he drew it in the future and he didn't know where he would teleport, wouldn't that be awkward? That is because your cultivation is not good enough and you lack knowledge. Teleportation seals require someone with high familiarity like me. Li Xiandao casually drew one and slapped Tian Guangming in. A few seconds later, Tian Guangming flew back and looked at Li Xiandao in shock. Master, you teleport me to my own room. All of you memorize this seal. In the future, it will make traveling much easier. Li Xiandao instructed everyone. Everyone memorized the large and complicated seal. Master, there is news spreading from the outside and I think that you will be interested. Northern Region Lord Gongyu and Chu Bai walked back from the 10,000 country book depository and their expressions were really solemn. They looked at Tian Guangming and Li Wuya. What news? Li Xiandao looked at them. Chapter 230, Give me a 10,000 year 1 first. Northern Region Lord Gongyu had been cultivating in the 10,000 country book depository to improve himself and increase his strength. At the same time, he refined the power of Overlord Blade Old Master Chen to turn it into his own. Thus, his improvement was staggering. This improvement exceeded the total over the past few thousand years. Northern Region Lord didn't head out and the one who entered and left Eternal Land was Chu Bai. Chu Bai left the Bank of the Universe and heard the news. Originally, she didn't care much about it and it popped up in her conversation with the Northern Region Lord. The Northern Region Lord linked it right away to Tian Guangming and his disciple Li Wuya. Speaking of which, Tian Guangming became really proud after collecting a disciple. Especially after Li Xiandao gave Li Wuya the Overlord Blade, he became really gleeful. He actually brought Li Wuya to visit all of them and he even told Li Wuya to carry the blade. The meaning he wanted to show off was really apparent. Tian Guangming was a huge reason why the Northern Region Lord had such a huge impression of Li Wuya. This was why the two of them discussed before coming to find Li Xiandao. But they gazed towards Tian Guangming and Li Wuya. You are talking to Master, so why are you looking at me? Tian Guangming didn't understand. Because this is related to the two of you. Chu Bai said. What? Tian Guangming frowned. He didn't bother to comprehend the formation and just looked at Chu Bai. Chu Bai looked at Li Xiandao. Speak. Li Xiandao was wearing the mask and he said calmly. News came from ancient Buddha land that in 10 days, they will send lightning to cleanse the demon path daughter. Chu Bai said. How is this related to us? Tian Guangming didn't understand. My disciple is the son of the demon but not the demon path daughter. Tian Guangming explained. Li Wuya frowned and had a bad feeling. The other people looked on silently. Chu Bai continued, the girl's name is Li Qing'er. Li Wuya's body shook, sister. Tian Guangming frowned, didn't Dalan Temple kill your entire family? Li Wuya panicked and said, I don't know. After the night of the killing, I saw the bodies of my parents and servants. I also saw my sister being chased and forced to a corner. Then, I fainted and was saved by the watch. To prove that what he said was true, Li Wuya took out the red watch that was still hanging on his neck. It can prove what I said. Li Wuya said anxiously. Li Xiandao looked at the red watch. Li Xiandao's private orders gave it its own mind. Li Xiandao had actually forgotten about it before, which meant that it ended up belonging to Li Wuya. Master, Li Wuya is right. When I saved him, I also saw that his daughter was pushed to the corner and it seemed like she was killed. I could only bring Li Wuya away. Who knew that her sister didn't die? The watch said. Li Wuya was filled with both surprise and panic, and he knelt down in front of Li Xiandao. He kowtowed and said, Master, please save my sister. She is the only blood relation I have in the world. I am willing to serve you for eternity. Li Wuya was so young but so responsible, and that touched Tian Guangming. He knelt down too and shouted, Master, I beg you to. Please help my disciple. Li Xiandao looked at Li Wuya, and the corner of his lips below the mask curled up. When one faces problems, one must rely on one's own hands. You have to save your sister alone. Li Wuya was stunned, but I am only at Foundation Realm. Li Wuya was like a small shrimp. Dalan Temple was like a dragon palace, filled with dangers, so how could Li Wuya head over? Tian Guangming was stunned too and didn't understand what Li Xiandao meant. Li Xiandao raised his hand and a jade box appeared in his palm. He said, in here are the 10,000 years that Tian Hung traded. I was originally going to exchange it for 10,000 God Spirit Meridians, but there is no need anymore. I shall reward you with all of it. Li Xiandao said slowly. Tian Guangming was stunned. Master, are you going to add to our lifespan? Master, I have enough lifespan, so I don't want it. The old priest, who was pretty much invisible, said. He had a long lifespan and was comparable to a turtle. 7 said, Master isn't adding to your lifespan, he wants to burn it in the time hall. All of you will get a bit and you will instantly pass 100 years to improve all your cultivations. The moment he said that, Li Wuya stood up emotionally. Master, I am willing. I am willing to cultivate in the time hall. I also comprehended the legacy of the Overlord Blade. Give me some time and I will personally head to Dalan Temple to save my sister. Li Xiandao nodded, I shall burn 500 years for you. Master, then what about me? Tian Guangming asked with his eyes opened wide. You. Li Xiandao thought about it, you are still young and have a long life. I shall burn 1,000. Great. Tian Guangming got really emotional. He looked at Heavenheart and his heart was filled with anticipation. With 1,000 more years, I can't catch up to you? At that time, I will trample over all of you. But Li Xiandao's next words quenched Tian Guangming's thoughts. Heavenheart, Fallen Angel Lucifer, Moon Angel Yuzuna, Battle Angel Michael, Archangel Gabriel, Wu Xianer, Northern Region Lord Gongyu, Chu Bai, Old Priest, you all will split the remaining 8,500 years. Li Xiandao didn't say the specifics. He wanted to see how they would decide. I am the youngest and don't have experience, so my cultivation attainments and knowledge can't compare to all of you. I shall take 500 years and you can split the 8,000. Wu Xianer stepped out and chose to take less time. The old priest stopped her, don't be so polite with me. You are young, so you need to improve more. I shall give my 1,000 to you for a total of 1,500 years. Your 9-tail monster fox legacy memory is huge. You need more time to absorb it and this is an opportunity. What about you, priest? Wu Xianer was shocked. Isn't it just burning of lifespan? The old priest smiled in delight. He stopped being low profile and he walked to Li Xiandao. Give me 10,000 years. The old priest said firmly. If it is useful, then I shall burn another 10,000. The old priest was like a rich man. He didn't care about his life at all. 10,000 years of lifespan was like 10,000 God source. He was using it just like that. Chapter 231, Dry and Boring 10,000 Years. Li Xiandao looked at the old priest and was speechless. The others were filled with jealousy and envy. As expected, people with strength spoke with more power and confidence. Everyone present could take 10,000 years out, but to burn 10,000 years and spend 10,000 years in the time hall. The addition of the two would mean 20,000 years. People at Legend Realm wouldn't last more than 30,000 years. People like the Northern Region Lord's old ancestor and Duanmia family's old ancestor relied on treasures to forcefully extend their lifespans. Once they reached their limit, they would quickly deteriorate. The older they were, the more useless they were. This was why they envied the old priest. As expected, having a healthy body was much better than anything else. He casually shouted 10,000 years, and along with the 10,000 he had to spend inside, a total of 20,000 was gone. To everyone here including Li Xiandao, it was a huge loss. But the old priest was so casual. He even said that if it was useful, he would burn another 10,000 years. Amazing! He then sent all of them back into the time hall. Dong! 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 The time hall was split into many rooms. Everyone was alone and the time flow in each was different. Li Xiandao burned the 10,000 years of lifespan and distributed them. 500-year ones were alone, those of 1,000 years were together, and those of 1,500 years were together too. As for the old priest, he occupied half a region alone. He burned 10,000 years of lifespan. Li Xiandao saw 10,000 years of lifespan being ripped away from the old priest. However, it felt like nothing had happened, only a few more strands of white hair appeared on his head. The old priest actually cultivated really slowly. If not for the time hall, he would have improved like a snail. Everyone worked towards Legend Realm while the old priest was only at human celestial realm. If the old priest broke through to Legend Realm in these 10,000 years, he would earn the 20,000 years that he lost and even gain a little more. Thinking about it filled Li Xiandao with envy. If not for the cultivation technique being too hard at the start and restricting one from cultivating anything else, even Li Xiandao wanted to cultivate it. As long as one learned it, one could live for a very long time. That was just so terrifying. The same time passed. Be it those who spent up 500 times, 1,000 times, 1,500 times, or 10,000 times. All of them came out after a day. Li Xiandao didn't stay in the time hall. He just went back to his room instead. He closed his eyes and was thinking about something. Dalan Temple obviously couldn't find Tian Guangming and Li Wuya, which was why they pushed Li Wuya's sister out. They knew that Li Wuya was in Eternal Land, which was why they spread the news all over Eternal Land. Dalan Temple wanted to use Li Qing'er to force out Li Wuya and even Tian Guangming and Heaven Heart. Even Li Xiandao. Since all of you have done that, then don't blame me. Do you think that it is easy to bully Li Wuya? Li Xiandao laughed coldly. He remembered that the old monk had peeked in the future and Li Wuya was carrying a demon blade, leading an army to wipe out Dalan Temple. Wasn't that slowly falling into place? The people who were pushing this script forwards were indeed those monks from Dalan Temple. All of you saw Dalan Temple's extinction. That old monk personally directed that ending and even died as a result. Li Xiandao laughed coldly. He had asked for it. The future could change and it wasn't fixed. The future one saw might just have been one of the many possible ones. Then, you tried your best and your hard work would turn all the possibilities into that one ending. Like how you dug your own grave and laid in it and then told someone to bury you. The old explanation of this was destiny. Li Xiandao couldn't help but feel like clapping for the monk who peeked in the future. Too amazing. To prove what he saw, he sacrificed the entire Dalan Temple. Overlord Blade Legacy, 500 years of time, darkness space, demonic energy, and a blood debt. Dalan Temple, you probably don't know what kind of enemy you have created. Li Xiandao started to look forward to what he would see in a few days' time. Call the demon frog over. It can go collect the other half of its body. Li Xiandao thought about it. Since Dalan Temple plotted against his men and drew them over, he would be the one to decide how many people to send. Demon frog. Li Xiandao contacted it. The Bank of the Universe's master. Demon Frog was shocked. This was the first time Li Xiandao contacted it. You can come over. Li Xiandao said calmly. Within Great Green Mountain, Demon Frog jumped up excitedly. Is it time to hunt Dalan Temple? Li Xiandao nodded his head. Yes, prepare yourself. We will set off in 3 days. I will come over right away. This time I shall teach Dalan Temple a lesson. Demon Frog laughed out loud. His voice shook the sky and caused the clouds to scatter. Hong! Demon Frog jumped up and disappeared from Great Green Mountain. He dashed towards where Li Xiandao's Bank of the Universe was. The first time he entered the Bank of the Universe was because of the watch. Now that it was broken, he couldn't instantly teleport to the bank. Moreover, he didn't call Li Xiandao master as he waited for Dalan Temple to be wiped out before following the contract. Thus, he needed to travel through space to rush back to the Bank of the Universe. In the Bank of the Universe, Li Xiandao drank tea and waited for them to come out. A day had passed, so who knew what their progress was? Although it was a day outside, they spent 500, 1,000, 1,500, even 10,000 years inside. Hong! The first to come out was actually the person Li Xiandao thought would be the last. Old Priest. 10,000 years had passed and the old priest came out. He was like a celestial, floating from the time hall to Li Xiandao. Li Xiandao looked at him and realized that his cultivation actually reacted Legend Stage 30. He was just 3 stages away from the peak. I can't take it anymore, the 10,000 years were tough. In the end, I was just tempering my heart and not training my cultivation. The old priest waved his hand and rejected the opportunity to go again. At the start, the old priest enjoyed the cultivation. But after 1,000 years, he started to get impatient. 000 years of doing the same thing would annoy most people. The old priest suppressed his frustration for 7,000 years. As for the last 3,000, he was about to go mad. No matter what, he couldn't lock himself up for another 10,000 years. It was just too terrifying. You don't believe him? Why don't you lock yourself up for a month? You would go mad too. Chapter 232, Everyone became stronger. What a loss, what a loss. I lost big time. The old priest was really bitter. Li Xiandao sat on his chair and looked on calmly. He was a little speechless. Didn't you earn it all back? Li Xiandao was helpless. The old priest broke past human celestial legend realm and reached legend realm stage 30. This was huge for him. His lifespan extended once more and reached a new peak. Even saint beasts couldn't outlive him now. However, the old priest dared to say that he lost out. Li Xiandao was really speechless. The old priest felt heart-pained. I lost 6,000 years for nothing. He burned 10,000 years and cultivated 10,000, which meant that he invested 20,000 years. But for the last 3,000, he was too annoyed and couldn't calm down. All of it was totally wasted. This meant that he had wasted 6,000 years. He felt so much pain in his heart that he couldn't breathe. Li Xiandao looked at him said calmly, it is because your cultivation isn't high enough and you aren't cultured. Have you forgot what the Taoists say about being one with nature? The old priest sighed, Master is right, I was too impulsive. If I used the last 3,000 years properly, I could have definitely reached stage 33. Hong! Just as they were talking, a person flew out of the time hall. Demonic energy rumbled around his body and transformed into a black phoenix that roared towards the sky. It reverberated in the Bank of the Universe. Li Xiandao and the old priest looked and their eyes lit up. The person had messy black hair, a naked upper body, a muscular build, and familiar features. It was Li Wuya. He had grown up. 500 years had passed and he was now 510 years old. Li Wuya was now an adult. His face still maintained some of its youthful features of when he was young and one could tell that it was him right away. He held the Overlord blade in his hand and the demonic patterns on his upper body formed a tattoo of a black sun swallowing the heavens. It looked really devilish and he gave off a sharp aura. The key was that his cultivation had reached Legend Realm in just one jump. With the Overlord blade in hand, Li Wuya walked in front of Li Xiandao and knelt down. Master, Li Wuya greets you. Li Xiandao nodded his head in satisfaction and asked, what realm are you at now? Due to the dark space in his body, Li Wuya hid his cultivation. Even Li Wuya couldn't tell how strong he was. Legend Stage 33. Li Wuya released his aura and said coldly. How did you improve so quickly? The old priest was stunned and exclaimed in disbelief. He burned 10,000 years and spent 7,000 cultivating and barely reached 30. Even if he was slow, how could he be so sick? He only accelerated 500 years. Li Xiandao also looked at him in shock before he turned his eyes to the Overlord blade. Did the blade help you? Li Xiandao guessed the reason. Yes, I obtained all of its legacy and it is mine now. I have obtained the Abai Hell Blade technique. Cultivating the demon technique, I have drawn out the dark space in my body and merged them together. At the moment, I am eager to charge into ancient Buddha land to destroy the Dalan temple. Li Wei said coldly. Dalan temple had wiped out his family and suppressed his sister. Now, they even wanted to execute her. As her brother, he had to wipe out Dalan temple. Not bad, I knew that you were suitable for the Overlord blade. It will definitely shine bright in your hands. Li Xiandao nodded his head in satisfaction. Li Wei had more potential than his bald-headed master. He was given resources and he could turn all his resources into combat strength. Li Wei stood up and he was actually around 2 meters tall, around the same height as the Overlord blade. He placed the blade in front of him and it looked like a door. Once everyone comes out, then we will head out together. It is too dangerous for you to go alone. Li Xiandao said. Li Wei was really strong now, but Dalan Temple wasn't weak either. During these 10,000 years, no one knew how many experts that Dalan Temple developed. Understood, master. Li Wei nodded his head and stood beside Li Xiandao like a bodyguard. Then, everyone headed out of the time hall one after another. Wu Xian'er gained the most. Not only did she merge with her legacy, but she also learned all the abilities of the nine-tailed monster fox. She was a totally different person now. Wu Xian'er was just less than a year old, so how would she have had time to comprehend how strong the nine-tailed monster fox was? She had been hunted down since she was born and then her mother died. She lost her home before she entered the Bank of the Universe and followed Li Xiandao. She went from Dali land to ancient desolate land and then to eternal land. Until now, she had spent 1,500 years to build her foundations. She was fitting more and more perfectly with the nine-tailed monster fox. Every smile and action of hers could attract looks from guys. Nine-tailed monster fox was born with an innate charm and each action could fill a man with desires. At the moment, Wu Xian'er had fixed all her previous weaknesses, which was why she thanked the old monk right away after she came out. The old monk waved his hands and said, "We are all under master, so there is no need to thank each other." Tian Guangming came out too. He didn't improve much. He went from stage 1 to stage 20. Tian Guangming felt that it was decent that he improved so much in 1,000 years. His talent had to be top grade. But when he saw the 2-meter-tall giant holding the Overlord blade, he was stunned. You are my disciple." Tian Guangming stammered. "Disciple, I am Li Wei." Li Wei nodded his head. Tian Guangming pointed out his height. "A day ago you reached my stomach, but now I am only at your stomach." He compared their cultivation too and he felt depressed. Li Wei had actually reached Legend Stage 33. As a master, he was only at Legend Stage 20. How embarrassing! Heavenheart walked by Tian Guangming's side and purposely released his cultivation. He didn't look at him and just walked past silently. He was just showing off without saying anything. Legend Stage 33. Lucifer learned from him. He too was at Legend Stage 33. Moon Angel Yuzuna sighed, "I am slightly weaker, I am only at Legend Stage 30. Tian Guangming looked at the three of them, and he was so depressed he wanted to vomit blood. Invisible mocking. This was cold violence. "Tian Guangming, you are the weakest person under Master, so what are your thoughts?" Battle Angel Michael asked. Tian Guangming rolled his eyes and looked at Michael. This was his best friend and he was really raising up the most hurtful topics. Even Michael and Gabriel, who rarely had missions in the Bank of the Universe, both reached stage 30. One didn't have to mention Chu Bai and the northern region Lord Gongyu. Gongyu reached Legend Realm stage 33 and his cultivation was immense. He looked around and Tian Guangming noticed that he really was the weakest. Chapter 233, Let me handle it. Li Xiandao looked towards Tian Guangming in shock and asked, "Everyone had 1,000 years but you only reached Legend Realm stage 20. The other people all turned towards Tian Guangming. That was actually a good question. Even Chu Bai reached Legend Realm stage 21 and was one stage higher than Tian Guangming. What was the reason for that? Tian Guangming was really confused. I don't know. I just cultivated and absorbed the power in the divinity. That shouldn't be the case. You merged with the divinity, so why are you so much weaker than Lucifer and the others? Li Xiandao frowned and sized up Tian Guangming before he flicked him. Hong! He shot some true qi into his body which caused him to shake and fall face first. Wang wang wang! Tian Guangming shot out of his body and he looked around in shock. Li Xiandao looked closely at Tian Guangming. One could clearly see a bright and shiny god divinity within. It was the goddess of light divinity. Tian Guangming obtained it and then Li Xiandao used some methods to suck away her consciousness. All that was left was the divinity for Tian Guangming to merge with. This divinity was like a stream of water, slowly transferring power over to Tian Guangming. Li Xiandao frowned, this provision speed was so scarily slow. Master, did something happen to the divinity? Tian Guangming realized the problem. This speed was actually quite slow. Li Xiandao didn't reply to him. He slapped Michael's body. Wang wang! Michael's soul was also smacked out. Similar to Tian Guangming, there was a divinity inside. But looking closely, Michael's speed was like that of a river. It raged on and energy was transmitted through his entire body, reaching every single part. One was a small stream and the other was a raging river. Was there any possible comparison? Tian Guangming was really determined and was able to forcefully reach Legend Realm Stage 20. Otherwise, he should have only been at Human Celestial Realm. Tian Guangming looked at Michael's divinity speed with envy and was about to drool. He then looked towards Li Xiandao in despair. Master, what should I do now? Li Xiandao blinked and said, the biggest problem is that you didn't merge with the soul of Goddess of Light which resulted in the slow speed. How can I merge with it? Tian Guangming shook his head and firmly rejected it. I don't want to sit down to pee. Tian Guangming's face was filled with disdain. Moon Angel Yuzuna, Wu Xianer and Chu Bai all spat out and looked at Tian Guangming with an unfriendly expression. A bunch of nonsense. Once we wipe out Dalan Temple, I will help you correct this. This speed is really much slower. Li Xiandao thought about it and said. Thank you, Master. Tian Guangming was delighted and filled with gratitude. As expected, Master still trusted him. If Li Xiandao knew what he was thinking, he would have told him that he didn't trust him but he felt bad. He had suffered so many setbacks and was still willing to face life with such optimism. He stuck to his goal and worked hard to become the strongest. The only thing was that he was unlucky. If he hadn't gotten the Goddess of Light's divinity and he received the God of Light one instead, with how hard-working he was, he would have been on the same level as Lucifer and Heaven Heart. After finding out the reason why Tian Guangming was weak, Li Xiandao sent both their souls back to their bodies. We shall wait for the demon frog to come and then we will enter ancient Buddha land to wipe out Dalan Temple. Li Xiandao sat on the chair and looked at the people in front of him. Master, I am willing to lead. Li Wuya was determined. Demonic energy wrapped around his body as he said seriously. You are definitely first up but we can't underestimate Dalan Temple either. Once the demon frog is here we shall ask him about them. Li Xiandao nodded and said. Speaking of the demon frog, he arrived right away. Dong! A giant frog rushed over from the outside world and jumped in, landing in front of Li Xiandao. Master, I am here. When are we moving? Demon frog was excited. Monster energy covered his body. He thought that he would need to wait for many years, but who knew that they would attack so soon? He called him master because of Li Xiandao's execution speed. Everyone else looked at the demon frog with a weird expression. Half its body was gone and it was still alive, it really had a stubborn will to live. Tell everyone how many experts Dalan Temple has and also how to save the other half of your body as well as your 7 brothers. Li Xiandao asked. Demon Frog's one eye shone brightly and he was really excited. As expected, he was going to help him deal with Dalan Temple. Master, my half-body and 7 brothers are suppressed in the slaughter tower. That is one of their 3 treasures and it is a really strong celestial artifact. Demon Frog's 100-meter body shrunk and he was the size of a human now. 3 treasures. Li Xiandao didn't understand. Celestial artifact Corona, celestial artifact slaughtering tower, and a relic left from a higher world monk Yuanji. With this relic, they can contact experts from the 9 skies and bring them down, avoiding the rules of heaven and earth. 8,000 years ago, we took a loss because of this. Demon Frog said. All of you remember what he said. Li Xiandao looked at his subordinates. The two celestial artifacts aren't terrifying and we have more celestial artifacts than them. The key is this relic. Once they summon people from the 9 skies we might not be able to beat them. Heavenheart frowned. Right, we were defeated by those monks who came from above. Demon Frog nodded his head and he was filled with hatred. Without those people from the 9 skies, Dalan Temple would have already been wiped out by the 8 of them 8,000 years ago. If we end it fast, can we prevent them from activating the relic? Tian Guangming asked. I thought the same thing before, but the relic is often in the hands of the Dalan Temple abbot. Dalan Temple has 8,000 years of accumulations and should be really strong now. Demon Frog said regretfully. The other people all frowned. What were they going to do now? People from the 9 skies and experts of the 10 lands were on different dimensions. They were lowering themselves to fight those of the 10 lands. Even with celestial artifacts, they might not win. This was why the 9 skies and 10 lands were basically cut off and the world laws didn't allow them to come down. But no matter how good the rules were, they couldn't prevent some from using loopholes. The relic was such a loophole. Using the relic, they could hide from the world's sensory abilities and allow experts to descend from above. There is no need to worry. Li Xiandao suddenly stood up and said calmly. Everyone looked towards Li Xiandao in anticipation. I will deal with the people who are coming down from the 9 skies. Li Xiandao was really calm but his tone was firm and it made all of them excited. Since their master already said that, then there was nothing they had to worry about. Li Xiandao raised his head and looked at the endless sky. It was as if he had seen through the world. Experts from the 9 skies aren't allowed to go to lower worlds, if they go against it, they will die. Li Xiandao muttered in his heart. Chapter 234, I am here. Originally, it would have taken a long time to get from Eternal Land to Ancient Buddha Land. But now, after Li Xiandao unlocked the 4th peak, the Seal Mountain Peak and noticed the space-crossing seal, there was no need to rush anymore. Otherwise, if they were just traveling alone, by the time they reached Dalan Temple, Li Wei's sister would have been hacked to death by lightning. I will send you over now. Li Xiandao used all his strength and drew a complicated 6-colored star in the sky to cover everyone. Wang wang wang. The 6-colored star teleportation seal activated and teleported them to the Eternal Land world barrier right away. Dong. When everyone stabilized their footing, they saw blue skies and white clouds as well as the world barrier. Sister, brother is coming. Li Wei held the Overlord blade with a passionate gaze. With a slash, he broke open the world barrier and charged across. Disciple, wait for me. Tian Guangming shouted and headed in. Li Xiandao had mobilized all his men, even sending Chu Bai out. They needed everyone to work together to wipe out Dalan Temple. All of them crossed the world barrier and started to cast their own teleportation seals. Tian Guangming and Li Wei were together. Chu Bai and Northern Region Lord were together. Wu Xianer and the Old Priest were together. The 4 angels banded together while Demon Frog and Heaven Heart. Each of them used the teleportation seal that they comprehended to head towards Dalan Temple. Tian Guangming and Li Wei were together, but it was Li Wei who used the teleportation seal. With a dong, a teleportation seal that Li Wei cast with demonic energy appeared above. Hong! The 2 of them disappeared right away. In the next second, they appeared in the desert where they ate the barbecued meat. The memories of which weren't too good. Li Wei closed his eyes and continued to draw seals. Hong! In the next second, they appeared in East Penglai Road. This was the place where Tian Guangming killed from east to west. Continue to teleport. In the next second, they appeared in the small city where the 2 of them had first met. Everyone followed their tempo and teleported closely after them. We are near Dalan Temple. Li Wei gritted his teeth and activated the teleportation seal. Dong! In the next second, they appeared in front of a majestic mountain. This was a Buddhist mountain. A mountain filled with monks. The mountain bodies were carved into giant statues. Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, Lohan, etc., were all there. This endless mountain peak was Dalan Temple's base. 10,000 Buddha Mountain, Dalan Temple's main camp. When Tian Guangming lured forwards, he could see that between all the mountain peaks, there was a giant tower. This tower was huge and really majestic. On it was one big word. Slaughter. Common life was tough, so the Buddha pointed one towards life, towards true happiness. Li Wei saw the slaughter tower too. He looked closely and there a young girl tied down by an iron chain. The girl was small and she was his twin. She was only 10. Her eyes were opened wide and a chain tied her up to a pillar. Thin, weak gaze, messy hair, and also that ice-cold chain. In the next second, a monk was directing lightning down and he wanted to slash Qing'er to death. Li Wei saw all of this. His eyes were about to pop out of their sockets and he was about to go mad. Sister! Li Wei hollered. He flew forwards with the overlord blade in his hand. Bald monk, you dare to hurt my sister! Die! Li Wei's demonic energy totally exploded. It turned into a giant black phoenix, and along with the overlord blade it smashed towards the monk on the slaughter tower. Li Wei followed closely behind. His hair was messy and his upper body was naked. The demon patterns on his body became clearer and all the demonic energy in his body exploded out at that moment. Li Wei was at Legend Realm stage 33 and he wasn't the weak kid like before. Explosion! The overlord blade was like a meteor that struck downwards. The black phoenix cried out, its voice shaking the 9 skies. Everyone in Dalan Temple could hear it. Numerous monks raised their heads and saw the giant black phoenix flapping its wings. The giant blade attracted all of their attention. The demon is here. How bold, even the demon dares to cause trouble in our Dalan Temple. What good timing! I told you that the daughter of the demon would be able to draw him here. She truly is the daughter of the demon. Dalan Temple's monks weren't afraid and even started discussing. Some of them gritted their teeth as they hated the demon path. When the Damo House first seat saw that he was laughing coldly, you are here. I told you that the son of the demon wouldn't give up on his twin sister. Even if he found another person from the demon path, he won't be of much help. Golden Body Lohan. Damo House first seat placed his palms together and hollered. Endless energy surged forwards, turning into a golden statue that appeared in mid-air. Monster, Dalan Temple is not a place where you can behave like that. Just stand there and wait to get killed. Li Wei hollered, who cares what Buddha you are? I shall shatter all of you. Overlord blade slashed forwards aggressively. Its aura wasn't reduced at all. Damo House first seat was furious and hollered, demon submitting golden body. The giant Buddha golden body in the sky opened its palm and slapped down. Demon submitting golden body. The Damo House first seat was also at Legend Realm stage 33. Naturally, his furious strike would be really powerful. But Li Wei was unafraid. It was just a gamble with lives. Even if he couldn't bring his sister away and he died here, he was going to drag 8,000 monks down with him. So, what was he afraid of? The overlord blade slashed forwards. Li Wei charged forwards too. Explosion! The overlord blade and Li Wei's aura merged into one, blade and human were one. This control was much more perfect than old Master Chen. The demonic power in the overlord blade didn't infect Li Wei and instead helped to nourish and nurture the dark space. Kill! Li Wei hollered before slashing down viciously. He struck the Buddha golden body. Kaka! One could only hear a loud explosion that reverberated around. In the next second, the Buddha golden body exploded. Golden light and black demonic energy surged around. The overlord blade continued forwards and struck the slaughter tower. Explosion! In front of it, hundreds of monks were sent flying and all of them spat out blood. The monk that was directing the lightning now had his head sliced off. Blood dyed the entire area. Dong! Li Wei stepped in front of the slaughter tower half naked with the overlord blade in hand. He said coldly, I, the son of a demon, am here. With me here, I really want to see which one of you dare to touch my sister. The demonic energy and black phoenix descended into Li Wei's body. He faced the entire Dalan Temple alone with a cold gaze. There was nothing he was afraid of. Brother! A weak but surprised cry rang out. Chapter 235, Furious Questioning. Li Wei turned his head and the first thing he saw was his sister's tired face. She was so cute in the past but that innocent and pure face turned to that now. A ball of rage rose up in Li Wei's heart, but when he saw her confused expression, he instantly hid that rage. Li Wei knew that he had changed a lot and his sister was unable to recognize him. Qing'er, don't be afraid. Brother will get you out. Li Wei said firmly. Brother, Qing'er missed you. After Li Qing'er heard Li Wei's voice, she teared up and shouted. She tried her best to struggle and break free from the chains. But her struggling only added to her injuries. Li Wei saw that and was really angry. Those bald monks all said that they were merciful but they had actually tied 10-year-old kid up with such heavy chains. Clang! Li Wei slashed with the overlord blade and the iron chains crumbled. Li Qing'er's body fell down powerlessly. Li Wei hurried over to hug her and he asked, "Qing'er, are you okay? With brother here, Qing'er is not afraid." Li Qing'er gave a weak smile and she curled up in Li Wei's embrace. She was shuddering and it was obvious that her experience in Slaughter Tower wasn't good. "You bold demon, you actually dare to kill in my Dalan temple and behave so intimately with the daughter of the demon. Do you think that there is no one left in my Dalan temple?" Someone chided. An old monk stood in midair with a cold face. He was also someone at Legend Realm Stage 33. Li Wei's eyes flashed fiercely. He hugged Li Qing'er with one hand and held the blade in the other. He pointed at the monk and said arrogantly, "And who is this bald camel?" "Scoff, I am Dalan Temple's discipline monk, King Shan." King Shan said coldly and stared at Li Wei. He found him really familiar. "Who are you?" King Shan frowned and asked, "What is your relationship with the daughter of the demon path?" "Who am I?" Li Wei laughed in disdain. "Hasn't Dalan Temple been searching for me, the son of the demon path?" Li Wei mocked. "Now I am standing in front of all of you and you can't recognize me." Li Wei stared at King Shan with an astonishing gaze. He exuded thick killing intent from his body. "What, you are the son of the demon path?" King Shan was shocked and he looked at Li Wei in disbelief. Damo House first seat was the same, he was surprised, how is that possible? That was so hard to believe. Dalan Temple's chair monk frowned, "A few days ago, you were just a 10-year-old kid at Foundation Realm and now you are so old with Legend Realm cultivation. Your demonic energy has gotten stronger. As expected, you are the son of the demon path." Li Wei laughed out loud, "Since all of you announced to the world that I was, then why don't I turn into the son of the demon path? If I didn't, then wouldn't I have let all of you down? Arrogant child, since you yourself have admitted that you are, then how can you blame us for spreading it to the world?" Damo House first seat scolded. "Son of the demon path." Li Wei laughed coldly. "Right, I am the son of the demon path, so all of you wanted to kill me when I was young. So, when you were killing me you massacred my family. So, when you killed my family you locked my powerless sister under the slaughter tower. You also called her the daughter of the demon path. All you bald monks really know how to speak. Your words are all lies. You are lying to the world, lying to your Buddha ancestors." Li Wei took the overlord blade and pointed at all of them with a fierce gaze. It was hard to hide his rage and he questioned. "When I was 10, did I kill a single person? My sister is so pure, did she kill anyone? My parents' jobs were to open and mine God's spirit meridians. Did they offend you? What gave you the right to kill all of them? What gave you the right to wipe out my whole family? What gave you the right to lock up my sister? What right do you have?" Li Wei hollered in rage and his voice shook the entire sky. The questions that he had pent up in his heart were asked one by one. Dalan Temple's monks were silent but not ashamed. "Look at how much demonic energy is around you, you are even more vicious than a demon. Even if I wiped out your whole family and your friends, I will have to kill you. Someone who is friends with the demon is also a demon." Damo House first seat said coldly. He wasn't scared of what Li Wei asked. "Am I really that ugly?" Li Wei laughed coldly. "I had a beautiful family, a pair of loving parents, but all of you destroyed that. You pushed me towards this and now you question why I turned into this? You have never stopped to think about how you did things and that I'm always the one at fault." Li Wei shook his head in disdain. He suddenly realized that the way these bald monks were thinking was fixed. They were stubborn in what they felt was right and would never reflect. If something was wrong, it would be you and not them. What a joke, my Dalan Temple is the top power in ancient Buddha land, so how can we be wrong? You are the son of the demon path and that is the truth. Killing your family would be a blessing for millions of others. Although we are monks, we aren't afraid to kill. Damo House first seat stepped forwards and he was now a few hundred meters away from Li Wei. "Is that so?" Li Wei looked around and grinned, "So, today I shall make your Dalan Temple disappear from the history of ancient Buddha land. Just you alone." Dalan Temple's abbot looked calmly at Li Wei. "Me too." Tian Guangming rushed over and landed beside Li Wei. Legend Realm Stage 20, "Are you here to die?" Damo House first seat laughed coldly. Li Wei handed his sister to Tian Guangming, "Master, help me take care of her. I shall settle this." Tian Guangming knew that his cultivation was low. He picked up the terrified Li Qing'er. Don't worry, I will take care of her. Sister, he is my master and savior. Follow him and watch me take revenge for father, mother, and our other family members. Li Qing'er touched her face and said warmly. Li Qing was a smart kid and climbed onto Tian Guangming. She nodded, good luck brother. Kill these fake monks. Li Wei grinned. He turned around with the Overlord blade, his aura soaring. Today, son of the demon path Li Wei is here to wipe out Dalan Temple. Li Wei shouted loudly. Just you alone, you have no chance. Damo House first seat laughed coldly. I'm here too. A furious roar spread forth. A giant, dark shadow smashed into one of the mountain peaks, causing it to collapse. Stones flew everywhere and he caused a huge commotion. Chapter 236, Everyone is here. Hong. An extremely enormous demonic energy spread out around the mountains. A giant Buddha was carved in the mountains and the head of the Buddha was broken by the demon frog. Explosion. A giant Buddha statue head smashed in front of the slaughter tower, causing the mountains to shake. Dust bellowed and scared off many of the monks in Dalan Temple. Damo House First Seat's eyes were about to pop out of their sockets and he gritted his teeth. Demon Frog, you are not dead. Demon Frog's 100-foot body was only half gone, but he was even more terrifying. He roared towards the sky, absorbing demonic energy into his body. How will I dare die before I wipe out your Dalan Temple? It is good that you came today. 8,000 years ago, half your body was wiped out. Today, you shall leave your body here. Damo House First Seat said coldly. I am here today to take back my other half. All you evil monks have destroyed the good reputation of Buddhism. It is time that all of you are wiped out. Demon Frog roared. It pushed with its sole leg and shot forth, landing in front of the slaughter tower. He wanted to take the other half of his body back. Not good, stop this monster. Damo House First Seat hollered in rage. His body flashed and his palm covered the area. Hong. A giant palm appeared in heaven and earth and covered down. It wanted to smash the demon frog. Abai Hell Blade Technique. Li Wei sliced forwards with the Overlord blade, directly shattering the golden palm. Explosion. Energy rumbled and exploded, giving off a giant aura. Li Wei protected the demon frog and said coldly, go take your body, I shall handle this place. Demon Frog nodded his head and reached out, pulling at the slaughter tower and opening the tower up. Dalan Temple is not a place where the two of you can behave so arrogantly. The disciple monk King Shan couldn't sit still anymore and scoffed coldly. His body was like lightning, flashing forwards with his fingers as a sword as he used the Damo sword technique. The sword stabbed towards Demon Frog. Demon Frog was moving the slaughter tower, using all his strength to do so. He was unable to defend at all. But it was not afraid, it didn't even turn its head. Demon Frog didn't care about the sword behind his back at all. Clang! That was because someone appeared and also used the Damo sword technique to strike King Shan. Heaven Heart! He appeared behind Demon Frog and stared coldly at King Shan. King Shan was furious, where are you from? I am just an ordinary monk. Heaven Heart said calmly. You have betrayed the Buddha and actually colluded with demons and monsters. Now, you are stopping me from killing this monster. King Shan questioned Heaven Heart. All of you are the ones who betrayed Buddhism, right? Heaven Heart laughed coldly. You used the name of Buddhism to do even more terrifying things than monsters and demons. You killed people openly, suppressing and locking people up in the name of the religion. You lied to the Buddha. Is that what the scriptures teach you? Heaven Heart laughed coldly. Although he combined Buddha and demon, he didn't forget that he was a monk and he was once a believer in the Buddha. Heaven Heart read many books and none of them had said anything about letting Dalan Temple behave so arrogantly. A demon monk is a demon monk. You really have a way with words. You help the demon and monsters and even dare to scold us. King Shan laughed coldly. Heaven Heart sighed, I don't want to blame you now. I just want to kill. Prepare to die. Hong. Golden light shone from Heaven Heart's body. He stepped forwards and used his arm used as a blade to hack down. King Shan's eyes focused. He knew that Heaven Heart was strong, so he didn't dare to be too careless. His hand covered the sky as he tried to block that strike. Dong! The two monks clashed. Heaven Heart's body shook and his arm was slightly sore but he recovered in a second. But King Shan screamed and flew backward. He retreated dozens of meters before he was able to stabilize. His attempt to stop caused 500 meters of land around to explode outward. Dust billowed and sand was sprayed up into the air. King Shan's hand was trembling as he looked at Heavenheart in disbelief. Both of them were at Legend Realm Stage 33, but why did it feel like one was real and one was fake? Doubt appeared in King Shan's mind. He started to doubt whether or not he would die if Heavenheart landed a few punches. That feeling was real and King Shan knew that he couldn't be careless. In the next second, he shouted, "Chair, send all the experts out. Today, we shall destroy these demons and monsters and restore peace to the world." The Dalan Temple chair looked on with a dark and sunken gaze. Especially after he saw Heavenheart and Demon Frog, he was filled with hate. Demon Frog nearly wiped out Dalan Temple 8,000 years ago. Heavenheart was a monk, but he helped the demons and monster. All this made the chair really unhappy. He felt that Heavenheart had tainted monks, that he had tainted them. Monsters and demons are terrorizing the world. The 9th chair of Dalan Temple requests the Buddhas to help. Dalan Temple chair suddenly bowed to the heavens. Explosion. The entire Dalan Temple started to shake and huge changes occurred all around. In many small caves, old monks stood up and stepped out. Their bodies became younger and younger. Each step they took made them younger by 1 year. He was the Dalan Temple's first chair and was here in seclusion. There was also the 2nd, 3rd, 4th. A total of 8 top experts appeared. All of them were old. Some of their bodies were dried up while some of them were half dead. But when Dalan Temple chair shouted for them, they all walked out one by one and appeared in front of the slaughter tower. Dalan Temple's prestige cannot be tainted. An old monk said coldly. Demon Frog, you didn't die 8,000 years ago and now you want to use your other half to shake the slaughter tower. What a dumb dream. The 2nd chair saw that and laughed coldly. He was the one in charge then. Demon Frog led the other 7 monsters to attack Dalan Temple and nearly succeeded. This was why the 2nd chair hated Demon Frog. I will definitely be able to move the slaughter tower today. Demon Frog hollered. He didn't care about anything behind him and focused on using his one claw to move the tower. Explosion. Slaughter tower started to shake. Demon Frog saw some hope. He used more strength. Kill them. We mustn't let them push down the slaughter tower. The 7 monsters are inside. The Dalan Temple chair hollered in rage. Don't worry, there are so many of us. They won't run and won't succeed. A monk said confidently. Is that so? Just at that moment, many people flew over from the sky in the distance. 4 angels, Northern Region Lord Gongyu, Chu Bai, Old Priest, Wu Xiener. Everyone was here. Chapter 237, Overturning Slaughter Tower. Lucifer and the others were here and they faced off against the Dalan Temple experts. This stunned the Dalan Temple monks. Most of them were Legend Realm Stage 33. When were there so many of them? Could they be found everywhere? When the Dalan Temple current chair saw this, he frowned and asked, "Which world do you come from?" The old priest said calmly, "You don't have to know which world we are from. You just need to know that this place is about to be destroyed." The Northern Region Lord Gongyu landed. A bunch of old people were in front of him, and he shook his head regretfully. I thought that there would be a bunch of experts. Who knew that it was a bunch of old people? So boring. Dalan Temple's first chair stepped forwards with a cold expression. Explosion. His aura soared, it felt as if he was a living Buddha. His body was also swiftly regenerating. There is no point in talking to all of you. Since you have come to offend my Dalan Temple, then you must be prepared to die. The Northern Region Lord laughed coldly and he stepped forwards too. His aura was no weaker than him and he was suppressed right away. I will be the one to kill you. That was the only thing the Northern Region Lord said before he attacked. Dong. True Chi turned into a multicolored bottle. It smashed down from the sky. 10,000 Buddha Tower. The first chair took out his own treasure. It was a tower which he used to smack the Northern Region Lord. It wasn't a celestial artifact and it wasn't a treasure from the 9 skies. This was a treasure that the first chair had refined by himself. It gave off a golden-colored light, similar to the slaughter tower. It also gave off a Buddha image that was about to suppress the Northern Region Lord. The Northern Region Lord wasn't afraid of it. The bottle smashed into the tower and it gave off a low thud. Pang! An invisible shockwave spread and swept everything around. No normal monks dared to stay in front of the slaughter tower and all of them retreated far away. The first chair saw that his tower had blocked the Northern Region Lord's attacks. He held it up and flew into the air before smashing down with it. Suppress. The first chair wanted to suppress the Northern Region Lord under his own tower. He injected his true chi into the tower. 10,000 years ago, he was at Legend Realm stage 33. After 10,000 years of accumulation, his true chi was immeasurable. Explosion. The tower pressed down and covered the Northern Region Lord. The huge pressure caused dust and dirt to fly everywhere. The Northern Region Lord looked on coldly at the tower that was about to land. He was totally unafraid and just scoffed. Great Dao treasure bottle. The Northern Region Lord used his own technique. His body turned into a giant bottle and welcomed the attack. This bottle was totally different from the multicolored one. This was a yellow bottle and it contained what the Northern Region Lord comprehended about the world Dao. The weight of the world. The Northern Region Lord, who had turned into a bottle, gave out a loud rumbling as he charged near the treasure tower. Pang! A loud thud reverberated in the sky. A golden light exploded and the tower collapsed, turning into multiple shrapnels. The Northern Region Lord's strike was really direct, breaking down the treasure tower that the first chair had refined for 10,000 years. He turned it into dust which scattered everywhere. The tower was destroyed and the first chair's body was shaken. He retreated and fresh blood seeped out from the corner of his mouth. Impossible! How can my tower be destroyed so easily? The first seal was filled with disbelief. He looked at the Northern Region Lord and shook his head. I told you that I would kill you. If I didn't have the ability, then how would I be able to kill you? The Northern Region Lord laughed coldly. He stepped forwards and pressed down with his hand pressed before transforming into a bottle which suppressed the first seat. He wanted to kill that person. The pressure was terrifying. The Northern Region Lord's comprehension of the Great Dao treasure bottle was incredibly deep. The first seat was in a terrible state under the great pressure. It made him feel like a porcelain vase which started to crack. Kaka, the sound when a vase fell to the ground. The first seat's skull shattered. Under the Northern Region Lord's pressure, his skull shattered and he spat out a mouthful of blood. Pui! Save me! The first seat shouted. He felt really afraid. He sensed how terrifying the Northern Region Lord was. If that strike landed, he would definitely die. This was why he asked for help. But no one came. The second seat wanted to help but Lucifer stopped him. Lucifer's light and dark space covered the second seat. I am here to kill you. Lucifer was ice cold and he didn't hide his killing intent at all. In this light and dark space, Lucifer was definitely able to fully suppress the second seat. The third seat was held up by Moon Angel. Although Moon Angel was only at stage 30, she had the celestial artifact Full Moon. With Full Moon in hand, how would the third seat dare to be so arrogant? Just one blade slicing on the body would be enough to render him powerless. This was why even though the third seat was stage 33, he didn't dare to face Moon Angel head-on. The others wanted to save him but they were all held up. In the distance, Li Wei held the Overlord blade and struck Damo House first seat. Using the Abai Hell blade technique, each blade was a killing technique. It was a killing move that would send one to hell. Damo House first seat couldn't block at all. The Overlord blade was amazing. Although he didn't know what grade it was, in front of the celestial artifact, the Overlord blade showed off its own strength. Thus, the Damo House first seat couldn't block anymore and shouted for help. But no one could save him. A loud voice spread out from above. No. It was a tragic roar that came from the first seat. He was hit by the Northern Region Lord's Great Dao treasure bottle and his body exploded. Fresh blood scattered like blood rain. Over at Dalan Temple, the Northern Region Lord would kill you just like that. He didn't have to reason with you at all. After killing the first seat, the Northern Region Lord didn't care about the others. Instead, he formed his strongest Great Dao treasure bottle. An extremely bright and eye-catching, 49-colored bottle. It was one of Dalan Temple's treasures, Slaughter Tower. Explosion. The Northern Region Lord's full-powered strike helped Demon Frog overturn the Slaughter Tower. So what if it was a celestial artifact? Without anyone using it, it could be easily flipped. Ha ha ha, I have been waiting for this day for a long time. My body will be reunited and the peak Demon Frog is back. Demon Frog laughed out loud. Demonic energy spread out, not only him but from the other monsters too. With the Slaughter Tower overturned, the 7 monsters hidden within started to wake up. Dalan Temple was dealt a heavy blow. All of a sudden, the situation had gotten so out of hand. Chapter 238, not allowed to come down. The fall of the slaughter tower shocked all the monks. No one expected the Dalan temple that had ruled ancient Buddha land for 10,000 years to actually suffer such a tribulation. The situation seemed a lot worse compared to 8,000 years ago. The fall of the tower released the 7 monster kings. All of them were different, and the only similarity was that they were all really weak. Big brother! Big brother, are you here to save us? Big brother, you are a little late. I was nearly refined. Big brother, I really can't take it anymore. Why don't I kill some monks to vent my anger? The 7 monster kings looked at Demon Frog emotionally. But as they were powerless now, they all sat on the ground. Their bodies had all shrunk and they were much smaller. Wild boar, god eagle, pangolin, mule, heaven-swallowing dog, barbaric cow, flood dragon. These 7 monsters had grown up together with the demon frog. They ruled the monster race together and attacked Dalan temple together. They were really close to one another. Brothers, I have found helpers. All of you are too weak now, so watch and see. Once I merge with my body, I am going to take revenge for all of you. Demon Frog said happily. He was relaxed seeing that his brothers were only weak and that they weren't in any danger. Big brother, merge with it quickly. We shall pass our animosity over to you. Good luck, big brother. Big brother, help me kill a few more monks. The 7 monster instructed. Ha ha ha, it is finally out, my other half is finally out. Demon Frog's giant body was shockingly huge. It shouted out with hatred and grievance. 10,000 years. A full 8,000 years. He had to suffer the pain of his body being separated and his soul being sliced apart. This made him hate Dalan temple to the core. What he had been waiting a few thousand years for was about to come true now. Demon Frog shouted, if I don't merge now, then what am I waiting for? Explosion. Under the collapsed tower, monster energy surged out and covered the entire area. A giant image appeared which was covered by thick monster energy. It gave off a sinister feeling to it. Hong! This monster energy covered the area. One could roughly see the body of a frog hiding within the energy like that of a mountain. Demon Frog's other half, it had finally appeared. Demon Frog's true cultivation was at a level that the ancient Buddha land's 9 skies experts couldn't go up against. A few of them joined hands and they were only able to slice him apart. Then, they suppressed him under the tower. From that, one could see how strong the demon frog was. It jumped up and dashed into the monster energy, merging with the other half of his body. Explosion! Monster energy surged and ravaged Dalan temple. At that moment, everyone could sense that a top monster was awakening. The monks in Dalan temple panicked. These people are too strong. We are no match for them. The third chair forced Moon Angel back and hollered. Call for help from the 9 skies. The 4 chairs hollered. The current chair took out a jade-like relic and chanted to activate it. Within the monster energy, Demon Frog was merging with his body. When he heard this, he shouted, "Stop me! We mustn't let him bring down the people from above, otherwise, we will lose our advantage." Li Wuya shouted, "I will go." "You can't." Damo House First Seat knew that he had to stop Li Wuya. He used his top skill Roulette God Fist. Hong! With a palm, he blocked Li Wuya's path, not giving him any chance to get close to the first chair. The other monks went berserk and tried their best to hold back Heavenheart and the others. Lucifer wanted to kill his enemy swiftly but was delayed. The monk burned his own life to delay Lucifer. Dalan Temple's monks were going all out to protect the current chair. The other monks in Dalan Temple were at Legend Realm and they helped protect the chair too. Many Legend Realm monks sat cross-legged in the square to protect the chair in the middle. The chair didn't care about anything. He was fully focused on communicating with the relic and contacting the upper worlds. The pure white relic gave off a blurry light that was extremely bright. It gave off a saintly light and hung in mid-air. The current chair injected all of his strength into the relic. The demon frog completed the initial merger and roared out. With extreme speed, he charged at the current chair. "You can forget about summoning those bald camels in front of me!" Demon Frog roared. Explosion! Monster energy spread out and struck the skies. It was extremely terrifying and caused one's heart to tremble. The demon frog was even more terrifying. His 100-meter body was now complete. A giant green demon frog opened his mouth and wanted to swallow the current chair. But in the next second, he opened his eyes and said coldly, "You are a step slower." He reached out and touched the relic. The true chi that he injected in as well as those of the dozens of Legend Realm monks that protected him were all sucked dry. Hong! The white relic rose into the sky and giant energy exploded, surging all around. The demon frog had just charged over and right as he was about to swallow the current chair, he was struck away by the energy from the relic. Pui! Demon frog spat out a large mouthful of blood. Its top monster power was nothing in front of that relic. This relic was left after one of the high monks passed away. It had now absorbed the strength of one stage 33 and a few dozen Legend Realm experts. Demon Frog's expression changed and he looked on in despair. We are finished. Is it going to repeat once more? The Northern Region Lord said, no need to worry. Master said that he would block it. But that is an expert from the Nine Skies. Demon Frog had never seen Li Xiandao attack. He didn't have much hope. He was so strong then and had reached the peak of the ancient Buddha land. He also had the demon race body but had still been sliced into half. Now that he wasn't at his peak, what could he do? They don't come down alone. Demon Frog said in despair. All of them stopped fighting and raised their heads to look at the shining relic. On the 10,000 Buddha mountain range, the relic flew to the highest point. It shone down on the world and connected to another mysterious place. Explosion! A hole appeared in the sky and someone was about to come down. The Dalan Temple monks looked on emotionally. As long as the seniors from the Nine Skies came down, these monsters and demons were about to die. Anyone from lower worlds who dares to offend my Dalan Temple will die. A cold scoff sounded throughout the sky. A monk wearing a red robe came down. We are finished. Demon Frog looked on in despair. No, they are finished. Heaven Heart smiled. Why? Demon Frog looked on in confusion and suddenly opened his eyes. He saw that a thread of sword energy had gathered in the distance which slashed over. The sword energy was like the moon. It was ice cold like autumn. A sword sliced across the sky, bringing with it a few drops of fresh blood. Slice! The first monk who descended had his head sliced into two and he died instantly. The Dalan Temple people were at the peak of their joy and now they crashed to the bottom of the abyss as they looked on in disbelief. No one is allowed to come down. A calm order rang out. Li Xiandao wore a dark robe and his mask as he stood on a mountain peak. He stood with his arms behind his back. He was going to fight everyone alone. Today, Li Xiandao was about to end this cheating method. Chapter 239, Four Swords in One. Li Xiandao stood proudly on the mountain peak. Sword energy surged around him as he pointed at the huge hole in the sky. No one in the Nine Skies was allowed to come down. These scenes stunned everyone in Dalan Temple. Demon Frog looked on in astonishment. Before this, he was still worried and felt that they would definitely lose. But now, he was just confused at how strong Li Xiandao was. Since Master said that people from the skies can't come down, then they can't. Heaven Heart smiled and he had full trust in Li Xiandao. Right, Master's words are the law. Tian Guangming nodded in agreement with Heaven Heart. Master is too strong. Li Wuya was in awe. Demon Frog nodded his head. This was the first time he had experienced how terrifying Li Xiandao was. One person blocked the skies by himself. Li Xiandao stood with his arms behind his back as he looked calmly at the giant hole in the sky. You bold lowly cultivator, you actually dare to kill people from Dalan Temple. Within the hole, someone roared furiously. He chided Li Xiandao in rage. Li Xiandao stood on the peak. He was surrounded by clouds as he said coldly, I told you that you are not allowed to come down. A lowly world cultivator dares to say such words. What a joke! You are just so innocent and amusing. Cold laughter spread into his ears and he was filled with disdain. The Dalan Temple monks in the Nine Skies didn't care about Li Xiandao at all. Li Xiandao was not angry and just said calmly, everyone who dares to come down today will all die. Preposterous! I shall come down and end you. A furious shout rang out. A monk flew out from that giant hole. A big monk held a stick and waved it as he dashed towards Li Xiandao. I told you that you are not allowed to come down. Li Xiandao's eyes flashed fiercely. He condensed all his strength and turned it into a sword. The moment the sword came out, it gave one a feeling like the sky was about to collapse. Hong! The monk who rushed down from the Nine Skies felt everything in front of him turn white. What followed was endless destruction, the moon and stars smashed down, filling one with disbelief. That strike was so terrifying that it made one tremble. No! How can someone from such a lowly world have such terrifying Dao comprehensions? The big monk hollered in terror. He didn't believe what was going on and even tried his best to dodge. But it was useless. With one sword, Li Xiandao sliced his head open. The way that monk died was totally different from the last one. The entire area became totally silent. At that moment, the higher UPS of Dalan Temple in the Nine Skies were all shocked. Li Xiandao's sword exceeded what a Legend Realm Stage 33 could comprehend. It reached an immeasurable level. Within Dalan Temple, the few chairs all had ashen white faces like they had seen a ghost. Seniors who came down were killed by Li Xiandao, extinguishing their rising hopes. On the peak, Li Xiandao was standing straight up. The moon, clouds, sun, and wind were under his control. I told you that you aren't allowed to come down, so why don't you listen? Li Xiandao shook his head and said regretfully. Your sword was not a move from the 10 lands. One of the higher UPS asked in rage. Li Xiandao raised his head. The dark gold mask seemed noble and evil under the sun. He said, I have comprehended numerous Dao techniques, using them to create 4 swords. Overturning the ocean, withering flame, cloud mountain, collapsing the heaven. That sword was collapsing the heaven. Isn't it really simple to kill people like you? Li Xiandao asked. How can the lower world Dao attainments be so thick? The monks above didn't believe it. You don't believe me? Li Xiandao laughed. Since that is the case, then try out my other 3 remaining swords. Hong! The sword energy by Li Xiandao's side shot forwards. It was like a drop of water hidden in an ocean. In just a short moment, it surged into the giant hole in the clouds. Explosion! The sword energy exploded and a huge ocean charged into the tunnel. Ka ka ka! The tunnel started to become unstable and Li Xiandao's strike looked like it was about to break down. How bold, you dare to destroy my Dalan Temple tunnel! High above, there was a furious shout. Someone projected down with a strong aura. He transformed into a golden Buddha that punched down. This monk wanted to kill Li Xiandao. Dalan Temple's tunnel to the lower world couldn't be destroyed. Once it was, Dalan Temple would lose contact with each other, and their plan that they had set out for 10,000 years would go to waste. Li Xiandao's expression became solemn. He was an expert, a true expert from Dalan Temple. He was too strong, so he couldn't come down. He could only send a projection. Even if your main body doesn't come down, I can still kill you. Li Xiandao said coldly. The Dalan Temple higher UPS were so furious and they wanted to send projections to kill him. However, Li Xiandao wasn't allowing them to get what they wanted. Dalan Temple, I am going to wipe it out. Kill. Li Xiandao's fingers were like a sword. True Qi and Dao attainments were channeled into this strike. He was one with the universe as he slashed forward. Hong! 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 4 swords shot out. Overturning the ocean. Withering flame. Cloud mountain. Collapsing the heaven. These 4 swords were ones that Li Xiandao had comprehended himself. He combined what Zhao Wuji, Zhong Beishan, Sword God, and the priest had taught him. Sword energy surged forwards. The 4 swords moved in unison, each had their own abilities. Your 4 swords are still too weak in front of me. The golden Buddha body laughed coldly. He didn't show mercy and instantly used the diamond palm. This slap shook the entire heaven and earth. The buzzing reverberated around, causing terrifying ripples. The 4 swords were being obstructed by that palm, held back through the air by the palm. Explosion! These 4 swords carried terrifying sword energy like they were many giant axes. The aura that the palm gave off was like a mountain. An axe hacking down on the mountain, their auras struck each other. In the sky, the clouds scattered. Lightning and wings surged as numerous phenomenons appeared. Behind the 4 swords, an ocean roared in fury. Flames burned, cloud mountains pressed down, and the sky collapsed. Behind the golden fist, there was a Buddha statue that stood with drooping eyes. It showed no sadness and no happiness. You can't stop me, you lowly world cultivator. Although this tunnel has a cultivation limit, you must remember that you cannot offend my Dalan Temple. The monk from above said coldly. It was enough for him to be fighting on the same level as Li Xiandao. He held Li Xiandao back and gave time for the others from Dalan Temple to come down. In the next second, 33 people came down at once. When Li Xiandao saw that, killing intent appeared in his eyes. I already told you that you can't come down. Now that you didn't listen, don't blame me for what I am doing. 4 swords merged into one, overturning the ocean, withering flame, cloud mountain, collapsing the heaven. These were the 4 swords that Li Xiandao had comprehended. Individually, they were all top techniques. Once they merged together, they were invincible. Hong! The moment they merged, sword energy swept the sky. At that moment, Li Xiandao sliced off 33 heads. Chapter 240, Waste of Medicine. Blood rain scattered during the bright morning. The blood rain fell on the mountain range and the many Buddha statues. Some of the blood landed on their faces and made it look like the Buddhas were crying. In the next second, the golden Buddha body projection opened his eyes and stared at Li Xiandao in shock. You deserve to die. The Dalan temple higher UPS above in the 9 skies were furious. Their gazes towards Li Xiandao were filled with killing intent, and their hatred was as thick as blood. Of the 33 disciples, all of them were killed by that one sword. When had Dalan temple ever suffered such humiliation in the 9 skies? But in the 10 lands, they had. The key was that the experts came down from the 9 skies. The tunnel they used was too weak, and once their strength exceeded the limit, the tunnel would collapse. They would be picked up by the world laws, and then the 9 skies would dish out lightning punishment. Even they were unable to handle such punishment. This was why he projected the golden Buddha body down to try to use his Dao attainments to crush Li Xiandao. But Li Xiandao's merging of the 4 swords had shattered his thoughts and plans. He was not willing. Dalan temple above in the 9 skies was really unhappy. They had planned this for 10,000 years and handed down 3 treasures to help Dalan temple rule ancient Buddha land. They were about to collect their spoils and enjoy their rewards. But now, Li Xiandao had destroyed everything. The higher UPS above in the 9 skies were even thinking about skinning Li Xiandao's heart alive. They had never held cultivators from the 10 lands in any regard. Now that they had suffered some bitterness, they felt really frustrated. They had strength, but they couldn't use it at all. Li Xiandao said calmly, "Are you still not leaving?" The golden Buddha body couldn't handle Li Xiandao, so it had no purpose at all. No matter how many people they sent down, they couldn't block Li Xiandao's sword at all. There was nothing they could do about Li Xiandao at all. Apart from giving up ancient Buddha land, there was no other choice. Very good. I have remembered your aura, and we shall meet again in the 9 skies. My Dalan temple will welcome you to the 9 skies. Dalan temple higher UPS said coldly. They were furious and had started to threaten Li Xiandao. They believed that Li Xiandao would definitely enter the 9 skies. With such cultivation, he could already break open space and enter. Li Xiandao stood with his arms by his side. Okay then, we shall meet in the 9 skies. Now, all of you can scram. Li Xiandao's gaze was cold. He formed many swords that stabbed towards the relic. You can forget about taking any of our 3 treasures. The Dalan temple expert from above hollered in rage. The golden Buddha projection reached out and tried to grab the corona, slaughter tower, and relic. They had handed down the 3 treasures for 10,000 years but hadn't let anyone bind to it. No wonder when they were fighting, no one activated the slaughter tower to suppress the demon frog. Dalan temple was just so stingy. Explosion. The world tunnel closed slowly. Above, a pair of cold and furious eyes stared at Li Xiandao. He didn't turn away for a very long time. Li Xiandao looked at him calmly. I could wipe out your Dalan temple in the 10 lands, so when I enter the 9 skies, what right do you have to fight me? When the world tunnel closed, the space around calmed down. The white clouds sealed up and the sky was blue as usual. There was even a slight breeze. The golden color in the sky was even more beautiful now. But the people from Dalan temple weren't in the mood to admire it. Each monk had a bitter expression on his face and they looked on in despair. Dalan temple had abandoned them. This was not like 8,000 years ago, no one was here to save them. When Demon Frog saw this, he jumped up in excitement and hollered, "Master, amazing!" All his other subordinates were filled with excitement. Master was too strong and he forced all the experts from the 9 skies away. Unbelievable! Li Xiandao looked at them and said calmly, "Now that we have wiped out Dalan temple and killed some of those from 9 skies, we shall release the normal disciples and collect all their treasures." Heaven Heart smiled, "Don't worry Master, I will settle it." Li Xiandao was quite satisfied with Heaven Heart and said, "Help investigate some of Dalan temple's secrets." Since they invested so much in ancient Buddha land, they must have been planning something. Heaven Heart's expression became solemn, "Don't worry Master, I will get to the bottom of this. After Li Xiandao gave his instructions, he turned around and left. There was nothing interesting here for him. Li Xiandao didn't care about those Legend Realm Stage 33 experts in Dalan Temple. He turned around and with a step, he came to the world barrier and passed it. With another step, a complicated six-colored star pattern activated. He entered the bank of the universe. Right. Li Xiandao had perfected the space-crossing seal, and in just 2 steps, he was back to the bank of the universe. In Dalan Temple, after Li Xiandao left, Li Wui's expression became vicious. He stared at Damo House first seat and slashed down. Die, no one is coming to save you. All of you die. Li Wui's rage was all vented in that blade. Hong. Damo House first seat was already totally dejected. When Li Wui slashed towards him, he panicked and tried to block it. The blade slashed his chest and blood spurted out all over the ground. Cough, cough. Finished. I am done. Damo House first seat still hadn't picked himself up from being abandoned and muttered to himself. Die. Li Wui wanted to slice off Damo House first seat's head. Wait. Heavenheart stopped him. Why? Li Wui frowned. Heavenheart didn't explain but just stared at Damo House first seat. A deep abyss appeared in his pupils and he started to suck Damo House first seat's attention away. Tell me, what is your goal for building Dalan Temple in the 10 lands? Heavenheart asked. But the voice was really tempting and authoritative to Damo House first seat. Dragon Tooth Rice. Damo House first seat muttered. Heavenheart's face became serious. He knew about that. Where is it? Heavenheart asked. I don't know but it was sent to the 10 lands, so we were sent here. Damo House first seat replied. What news did you get in the 10,000 years? Heavenheart continued to ask. It will appear in 3 months, so we were originally prepared to grab it. Damo House first seat said. Where will it appear? Heavenheart asked. I don't know. Damo House first seat didn't know anything. Heavenheart asked him a few more questions but there was a limit to what he knew. Heavenheart sighed helplessly. He stood up and said, he is so badly injured and even if we heal him, he is a waste of medicine. Just kill him. Li Wui was waiting for that and the Overlord blade swung down. Kaka. A bald shining head fell to the ground. Fresh blood scattered all over this once pure land. Chapter 241, My Master. Dalan Temple was wiped out. Li Wui started a massacre and unless one was a higher up of Dalan Temples, no one could avoid his blade. It was Li Wui's goal to take revenge for his family, so the others allowed Li Wui to do what he wanted. When he reached the final Legend Realm expert, Li Wui heaved a sigh. Regret appeared on his face. No matter how many people he killed, he wouldn't be able to save his parents. Even if he wanted to revive them, it was impossible. Their corpses had been totally destroyed, burned to ashes by that fire. They were busy for their whole lives, worked hard their whole lives, and in the end, they were burned by that fire. It was truly a clean exit. Heavenheart continued to ask. He asked each one of them to try to understand what Dalan Temple's secret was. Every one of them talked about the Dragon Tooth Rice. Heavenheart was certain that it was indeed the case. When the higher UPS were killed, the disciples were sent away and the treasury was collected. Everything here was emptied out. This 10,000-year-old base was now totally empty. Li Wui burned all the Dalan Temple secret techniques and Buddha techniques. These monks were too extreme because they read these scriptures. We have to burn them all. Li Wui said coldly. After doing that, Li Wui walked to Tian Guangming and hugged his weak sister. Brother, have you taken revenge for our parents? Li Qing'er asked with a weak voice. I did. Their spirits in the heavens will be happy. I have killed the enemy and destroyed Dalan Temple. Everything will become better. Li Wui consoled his sister. Every invincible opponent would have a soft spot in their heart. Li Wui's was his sister. Brother, how did you grow and become so strong? I also want to grow so that I can help brother. Li Qing'er was looking forwards to that. Qing'er needs to grow slowly. Brother met Master and he changed my life. Master allowed me to grow, so in the future, Qing'er will follow us and live. Eat more and you will grow really quickly. Li Wui said warmly. Qing'er will listen to you and grow up quickly. Li Qing'er nodded and said firmly. Tian Guangming looked towards Li Wui in delight. He thought that he would have to spend a lot of effort on this disciple, but now it seemed like he didn't do much and Li Wei had grown. He was even stronger than him. Tian Guangming suddenly felt like he had grown old. No, when I return I need master to adjust the divinity. This is so unbearable. Tian Guangming muttered. Demon Frog and his 7 brothers supported one another. After being suppressed for 8,000 years, they were finally allowed to recover. Their speed was extremely strong. Big brother, where do these people come from? The wild boar combed his fur and asked with his fangs sticking out of his mouth. Right brother, also that person with the mask is so amazing. The god eagle stood up and spread his wings. His feathers were like pieces of iron, extremely sharp, and when they moved they gave off a metallic sound. Right, I also think that masked guy is so amazing. The pangolin nodded. Big brother, who is that mysterious person? The mule wagged his tail and asked. Demon Frog opened his eyes wide and his body shrunk. He stood in front of them and said solemnly, he is the master that I found for all of you, so don't say anything wrong. New master. The heaven-swallowing dog bared his fangs, I don't want a human as my master. I also do not want that. I love freedom. The barbaric cow said confidently. The flood dragon didn't say anything and just laid on the ground. Then, you go tell him. Demon Frog didn't care about their attitudes and said casually. Big brother, you were the one who agreed to it. The heaven-swallowing dog was unhappy. I promised that once master saved all of you, you would be loyal to him. Since you are not willing, then you can tell master yourself. Demon Frog said calmly. Heaven-swallowing dog thought back to how Li Xiandao blocked an entire sky by himself and was speechless. A short while later, the barbaric cow said, although I am strong, I am actually just a cow. Since I am a cow I need a master. It is better if he gets me a nose ring. Then, I will feel at ease. Heaven-swallowing dog looked at his brother in disbelief. Demon Frog praised, that is right. For 8,000 years, I have been trying to find a chance to save all of you but I couldn't do much with half a body. Since master was willing, naturally I made the promise on behalf of all of you. The other monsters listened quietly. Apart from being loyal to him, what do you have to take out to get him to save all of you? Demon Frog asked. The wild boar shook his head and sighed, the most valuable part of my body are my kidneys but they can't be chopped off. It seems like I am going to become a domestic boar now. I am also going to become an eagle. It really does not fit my identity as a god eagle. The god eagle muttered. I don't really care. Anyway, in the past, I have always been a domestic animal. The mule wagged without caring at all. The pangolin's eyes spun about, actually, I really want to be raised, so there is no need for me to fight anymore. Shua. Everyone looked towards the heaven-swallowing dog and the flood dragon. They were the only two that didn't say anything. The flood dragon was really casual, I don't really care. Anyway, being a subordinate is better than dying. What about you? Demon Frog asked heaven-swallowing dog. Heaven-swallowing dog thought about it and revealed his sharp fangs, giving off a cold glow. He forced a big smile, I will learn how to protect the yard. Demon Frog nodded his head in satisfaction, I am your big brother. As a big brother, would I ever con any of you? Do you see those people? Most of them aren't weaker than you. I myself might not beat that monk and that lord. They are all subordinates of master. Demon Frog explained. So, you mean that as subordinates we must still fight for love? Heaven-swallowing dog was shocked. Master is really mysterious and strong. He is really rich too. He has given celestial artifacts to a few of them. Do you see that girl in armor with that beautiful body? Demon Frog pointed at Moon Angel. Perfect body. The flood dragon praised. Beautiful woman. Heaven-swallowing dog added. The other monsters all praised Moon Angel. Pa! Demon Frog was furious and slapped each one of them, I am asking you to look at her weapon. That is a celestial artifact that master gave her. My master is so good to even give celestial artifact to his subordinates. The barbaric cow shouted warmly. Your master. The demon frog was annoyed. Who knew that the dumbest looking cow was actually the smartest one? Chapter 242, Mr. Mule. After confirming that they all recognized Li Xiandao as their master, Demon Frog helped to inject true qi into all of them to stabilize their souls. The barbaric cow wagged its tail and its giant body stood up. It was 3 meters tall and had no hair on its body. Its muscles were green and there were many patterns on it which represented his talent. The barbaric cows had giant horns on his head for weapons. It was really firm and strong, and energy surged in his body. He recovered from his exhaustion and muttered, "Without any herbs I won't be able to heal in a short time." Heaven Swallowing Dog stood up. He was only 2 meters tall and his limbs were huge and thick. His teeth were really sharp and they could easily rip past an enemy's defenses. "Let's go meet the new master." Demon Frog was only a meter tall now. He looked really thin and gentle. He wasn't as terrifying and threatening as before. He jumped onto the barbaric cow's head and said from above, "Great, I also want to meet my new master." Barbaric cow said, "Let's go. Dalan Temple has been destroyed. The grievances that have suppressed us for 8,000 are over just like that." The mule said regretfully. As he was weak, he couldn't even kill a single monk. He didn't take revenge at all and his vengeance had been cleared, which made him feel a little sad. The mule spread out his hooves. He moved so fast as if he was flying. He was one of the weirdest monsters out of the few of them. Demon Frog himself was a frog. The mule was a mule. They were the most basic animals with no bloodline and no special talent. They were able to become so strong due to their hard work. The mule had thick hair on his body. It was black and white like a zebra, but he was more gentle and his color wasn't so eye-catching. "When are we going to meet the master?" The mule ran beside Heavenheart and asked. "We shall go now. 8 of you follow me, I shall teleport through space with all of you." Heavenheart said. "Okay." The mule nodded his head as he stood beside Heavenheart. In just a moment, the other 7 monsters were here and they surrounded Heavenheart. "Let's go, let's leave this place to them. We shall return first." Heavenheart drew a giant seal in the air and teleported through space with them. Within the bank of the universe, after Xiandao returned, he closed his eyes to rest. "My strength is able to crush everyone in the 10 lands, but it is not enough to fight those in the 9 skies." Xiandao thought to himself. Dalan Temple in the 9 skies was a giant sect. They were really strong, otherwise, they wouldn't dare to come down to scheme for things. Even if they had a tunnel, once the laws noticed it, they would be bathed in light. Only by being strong enough could one be confident that the heavens wouldn't notice. Maybe the benefits were great enough which made them take the risk. Xiandao noticed that since Dalan Temple had been created, the 2 celestial artifacts were bounded too. Slaughter Tower was also kept in its original state. This meant that they cared a lot about these 2 celestial artifacts up in the 9 skies. Even if Xiandao chased them away, they had to bring the celestial artifacts back. This also showed that they were strong, but they weren't the strongest, otherwise, they wouldn't have come down to plan something. This only meant that there were huge interests involved. Treasures from the 10 lands that can help above in the 9 skies have to be rare. Let's just hope that Heavenheart will find out about it. Xiandao thought about it. After this analysis, Xiandao had no anticipation towards Dalan Temple. 7 walked over and saw Xiandao's closed eyes. He asked, "Are you tired?" Xiandao sighed, "I fought some people from the 9 skies and chased them back." 7's expression changed and she said hurriedly, "You fought with someone from the 9 skies? Are you okay?" Xiandao shook his head, "I am okay. It's just that my body is a little sore." "Sore?" 7 was stunned. She rolled her sleeves, "Come, let me massage you." "Okay." Xiandao agreed right away without any hesitation. He laid down right away. "Quickly, my body really feels tired." Xiandao was really eager. 7 was stunned. She saw how Xiandao was behaving and squinted. "Are you faking it?" Xiandao's heart shuddered. He said quickly, "I chased away the people from Dalan Temple and killed over 30 people from the 9 skies." 7 decided to believe him, "Okay, then I'll help massage you." Xiandao was delighted and looked forward to it. He could feel 7's gentle and soft hands once more. But right away, another voice spread into his ear. "Master, I have brought Demon Frog and his 7 brothers back." It was Heavenheart's voice. He had rushed back. 7 quickly placed down her sleeves and smacked Xiandao, "Sit properly. Isn't it so inappropriate to be laying down?" Xiandao sat up expressionlessly. He looked at 7 but he was really annoyed with Heavenheart. He hadn't come early or late. He just had to come at this moment. 7 looked at Xiandao's expressionless face and laughed, "Okay, once they leave then I will help massage you for 10 minutes. Xiandao looked at her and demanded, 30 minutes. My hands will become sore." Seven raised her snow-white and tender hands. Don't you still have legs? Li Xiandao looked at Seven's jade legs. Don't you know that girls can't randomly show others their feet? Seven's face flushed red and she stared at Li Xiandao. You even told me to use my legs to do that. Then, 20 minutes. Li Xiandao bargained. 15 minutes and I will only use my hands. Don't think about anything else. Seven said seriously. Li Xiandao nodded. 15 minutes then. He gained 15 minutes of massage time and he was filled with delight. However, he maintained a blank expression in case Seven noticed. He wore his mask and waited for Heavenheart to enter. Da-da-da. The first thing he heard was the sound of hooves. A mule appeared in front of them. Master. The mule dashed towards Li Xiandao and then knelt down in front of him. Greetings, my beloved master. The mule was really sincere and kowtowed towards Li Xiandao. Li Xiandao was stunned. Seven and him looked at one another. What was going on? The seven monsters who walked in all gritted their teeth. They said that mules were gentle and responsible, but how did he become a bootlicker? Especially the barbaric cow who was filled with hate. This was his job. But now, he couldn't do that. He wagged his tail impulsively, as expected. You are a plastic brother. Even if you wanted to do that, you should have called me along too. Chapter 243, Dragon Tooth Rice. Li Xiandao looked at the mule and asked, You are the demon frog's brother, one of the seven monsters. The mule nodded, Master, I was one of the seven in the past but now I am your mount. You can just call me Mr. Mule. Li Xiandao laughed, I don't need a mount. Master, don't underestimate me. Although I am not very strong, I am extremely quick. I've comprehended space techniques and if my cultivation increases, I will be able to teleport. Mr. Mule introduced himself warmly and promoted himself to Li Xiandao. The fact that he had turned into a monster king from a house mule meant that he was really smart. He knew who to be loyal to and who to be friends with. It was obvious that Li Xiandao was his new master, and since Li Xiandao was so strong, if he didn't bootlick him now, then when did he have to wait till? While Mr. Mule was talking, Heavenheart brought the other monster kings in. You can rise first. Li Xiandao told him to rise and then looked towards Demon Frog and the other seven monsters. All of them were beasts but had weak auras. It was obvious that 8,000 years of suppression had badly hurt their bodies. Demon Frog should have told you that he has signed a contract on behalf of all of you. What do all of you think? Li Xiandao asked. I am definitely willing to recognize you as my master. Mr. Mule said right away. Big Brother did so to save us. We are willing to recognize you as our master. Barbaric Cow said. I have no objection. It was a fortunate thing to be able to come out alive. The Pangolin said. Right, Brother Pangolin is right, it was good to come out alive. Master, accept my kowtow. The God Eagle lowered his proud head. Master, what are you planning to do to us? Heaven Swallowing Dog asked. The others looked towards Li Xiandao. They wanted to know how they would be treated now that they were on his side. Li Xiandao looked at them and waved his hands, all of you are still too weak. Since you have recognized me as your master, then everything is good. Go out and find a house in the mountains to cultivate and recover. The monsters were all delighted. Who knew that the first thing Li Xiandao did was allow them to recover? It made them feel a bit closer to him. Dalan Temple led them out. Li Xiandao looked towards Heavenheart and asked, Have you found out Dalan Temple's secret? Heavenheart nodded his head, I have used soul control technique on the higher UPS and they have exposed everything. What reason or secret has caused Dalan Temple from the Nine Skies to set up a plan in the 10 lands for 10,000 years? Li Xiandao frowned and asked. Now that he had wiped out Dalan Temple, since there was a treasure, he would take it himself. Li Xiandao lacked treasures now. He didn't have a suitable weapon on him either. He used sword energy against enemies, and if he had a really strong weapon, his strength could increase in folds. But unfortunately, the celestial artifacts he got weren't suitable for him. The only sword was Gabriel's life weapon. How could Li Xiandao take his own subordinate's life weapon? This was why Li Xiandao fought empty-handed. Heaveheart said solemnly, the reason why Dalan Temple built a temple in the 10 lands is for an ancient treasure. Ancient treasure? Li Xiandao's brow rose up. Right, Dragon Tooth Rice. Heavenheart said. Li Xiandao's eyes lit up and he stared at Heavenheart, are you sure? Seven couldn't help but look towards Heavenheart in shock. Is it really dragon tooth rice? Seven couldn't help but ask. Heavenheart nodded his head. I have charmed the Dalan Temple people and found out that within 3 months, dragon tooth rice will appear in the 10 lands. The only thing is that we don't know which world it will be in. Li Xiandao muttered, in ancient times, even if it appeared on normal people, they could reach 800 years old. People who cultivate would soar. The ancient witch race used it to rule the world. Their bodies were strong enough to pass through the Milky Way and rip open the stars. Right, that was an era when the 3 worlds were equal. Seven nodded, she knew about that era. During that era, the 10 lands belonged to the witch race. The witch race didn't cultivate and just trained their bodies. They used the strength of their bodies to run the 10 lands. As for the 9 skies, the 9 skies belonged to the human race and they had their own glorious moments with many rulers and emperors. 10 lands and 9 skies could compete with the celestial world and they definitely didn't see it as a goal. Flying up to the celestial world was something that people felt was dumb. All of this was because of dragon tooth rice. Dragon tooth rice was a special item then. When it was planted in the ground, it would absorb moonlight essence. Each grain of dragon tooth rice would contain huge spiritual energy and one could see that it seemed like a dragon. Once it matured, the dragon tooth rice would be really big. Someone compared it to the teeth of a 10-year-old baby dragon. That was how it got its name. So, if one planted dragon tooth rice, one didn't need to worry about the lack of spiritual energy. 1 grain of dragon tooth rice could replenish all losses and even help your cultivation to increase. Everyone in that era ate dragon tooth rice, so how could their bodies not be good? Even if they couldn't cultivate, normal people could live to 800 years old. That was truly amazing. Unfortunately, those times ended due to the extinction of dragon tooth rice. As for how it was lost, no one knew. That era was so long ago that no one could investigate anything about it. But numerous books and records said that the celestial world had caused it. They destroyed dragon tooth rice. 9 skies and 10 lands fell such that the 9 skies needed celestial world to provide celestial energy and 10 lands needed the 9 skies to give them spiritual energy. Their statuses changed just like that. Celestial world, 9 skies, 10 lands. The 3 places that were on the same level as one another were now obviously split. If the witch race experts found out, they would probably charge up to the celestial world to take revenge, right? How did the Dalan Temple know that the dragon tooth rice is in the 10 lands? Li Xiandao asked. Corona. One top monk from the 9 skies gave up his life to see the birth of dragon tooth rice and he confirmed that it was in the 10 lands. That monk died and left a relic that was passed down to ancient Buddha land. Now, it is only 3 months away from the time that the monk said. Heavenheart said. It doesn't seem fake. Sacrificing life to peek into destiny is the most amazing method, so it won't be fake. Li Xiandao nodded his head. Chapter 244, New Guest. Dragon tooth rice would appear in 3 months. At this moment, Li Xiandao understood why Dalan Temple up above was so angry. They had prepared for 10,000 years and they were just 3 months away. Then, Li Xiandao appeared. They had amassed many experts in 10,000 years, collecting the power of the entire ancient Buddha land to give them an advantage. This was like tossing a woven ball. Dalan Temple had cleared out one whole region and as long as the ball landed in that region, it was theirs. Even if it fell into another region, they could send someone to retrieve it. They could even summon many more experts. The dragon tooth rice was basically theirs. But Li Xiandao had appeared. An evil being directly chased Dalan Temple away and occupied their area to steal their woven ball. How could Dalan Temple not be angry? They couldn't come down and they really wished that they could chop Li Xiandao up into 8 pieces to vent their frustration. Li Xiandao instructed Heavenheart, from now on, you shall stay in ancient Buddha land and pay attention to news about dragon tooth rice. I am here in eternal land and I will send others to the other worlds. Li Xiandao had to get the dragon tooth rice. This dragon tooth rice resulted in the destruction of the ancient era. It was a really romantic time when normal people could live to 800 years old. They could enjoy all the nice scenery and enjoy life. Dragon tooth rice had a huge part to play in all of that. This was why Li Xiandao needed to get the dragon tooth rice. He didn't dare to say that he could replicate the era, but when he reached his peak, he would definitely take out the dragon tooth rice and spread it across the world. Li Xiandao felt that the 3 worlds should have been equal. Only then could he do business everywhere to strengthen the bank of the universe. Unlike now where experts would enter the 9 skies and then the celestial world. If that was the case, then it was extremely difficult for him to do any business. Heaven Heart left and only Li Xiandao and Seven remained in the room. Li Xiandao laid on the bed. What he wanted was obvious, he wanted Seven to massage him. Seven could only roll up her sleeves and begin to massage Li Xiandao. She just pushed and pulled softly and repetitively. Seven's massage had no skills at all. She hadn't massaged anyone much. This was the second time. Both times it was Li Xiandao, and compared to the rustiness the first time, she didn't improve by much. But Li Xiandao liked her massage. He closed his eyes and felt the movement on his back. As she massaged him, Li Xiandao was in deep thought. Are you thinking about how to get the dragon tooth rice? Seven asked. Li Xiandao nodded his head and closed his eyes. He had taken off the mask long ago and he had a calm expression on his face. I have to get the dragon tooth rice. Only then can my men improve quickly. Seven consoled Li Xiandao, you should be the strongest person in the 10 lands, right? What is there to be worried about? You can't say that. Li Xiandao shook his head and didn't want to be arrogant. The 10 lands is far and wide and there are many people. Although my cultivation is decent, there should be many who exceed Legend Realm but can't fly up. Li Xiandao said. He was confident in his own ability but he wouldn't look down on others. There were definitely people who exceeded Legend Realm stage 33 in the 10 lands. This was something that Li Xiandao believed in. Eternal Land and the other 7 worlds were connected. There were billions of people in the 8 worlds. There were definitely many geniuses. Wasn't it easy for there to be many geniuses in each era? They could choose not to rise up to the 9 skies, right? So, Li Xiandao didn't dare to say that he was invincible. Seven helped massage Li Xiandao's shoulder. Since that is the case, then let's clean the contracts and expand the bank. There are just 2 little people coming to the bank to trade. Li Xiandao nodded and said, there has been no news from those few hundred watches. Li Xiandao had released a few hundred watches into the heaven and earth battlefield and then another 100 in Eternal Land. Now that he had unlocked the 4th peak, he obtained another 100. He hadn't released these 100 yet. Seven shook her head, I didn't get any news. Seven suddenly stopped and her expression became weird. Li Xiandao felt that something wasn't right, there is a guest. Seven smiled sweetly, Master is so smart. Li Xiandao was unhappy, tell him to wait. My body is still aching. Only 5 minutes passed and Li Xiandao was interrupted once more, which made him really unhappy. Seven looked at the angry Li Xiandao and smiled, you like me, to massage you so much. Her pause made Li Xiandao's heart jump. Li Xiandao nodded. He took a deep breath and paused too, I also like you, your massage. Go and trade. The guest is here and we can't let the person wait. Seven smacked his shoulder. Then, my time, Li Xiandao looked at Seven speechlessly. We can talk about it in the future. Maybe one day I'll feel good and give you a 30-minute massage. Seven smiled and winked at Li Xiandao before leaving. She turned around right away and didn't give Li Xiandao any chance to react. Mummy, this girl winked at me. Li Xiandao was in awe and muttered to himself. In the Bank of the Universe, Trading Hall. Li Xiandao changed and wore the mask. The mask he wore was black and white. It wasn't dark gold anymore. He had worn the same thing for a long time and wanted to change it. Black and white was a good match with Li Xiandao's robe. He looked like he had just been inked. The guest was amazed when he saw Li Xiandao. The guest sized up Li Xiandao. It was an old man. He wasn't that old. He had white hair, a white and tender face, and he seemed to be really energetic. But the old man was dressed really simply. He wore thin long pants and a mantle with a white undershirt. It covered his skin, otherwise, he would have revealed a lot. But now, his clothing seemed really simple. Compared to Li Xiandao, it felt like a rich young master and a beggar. But Li Xiandao didn't think that he was a homeless beggar. Who would treat an expert that reached Legend Realm stage 33 as a beggar? That person was just stupid. Li Xiandao also said that this world wasn't lacking in top experts. There were definitely people who broke through to Legend Realm stage 33. Who knew that Li Xiandao would see such a person right away and that he would become his guest? You are the master here? The old man asked curiously as he stared at Li Xiandao's mask. A black and white ink mask, it was just too beautiful and it attracted his gaze. Li Xiandao nodded, I am the master of the Bank of the Universe. What do you want to trade? Li Xiandao was really curious. What would someone who had broken through to stage 33 want to trade? Chapter 245, Strength and Defense. Although an old man who was a stage 33 looked old, he was definitely still at his peak. What couldn't a person like him solve by himself? Why did he need help from the Bank of the Universe? Li Xiandao didn't understand. The old man didn't reply to Li Xiandao right away. He took in a deep breath and said, I am Lu Qingfeng and I'm 8,000 years old. As for my cultivation, I've reached Legend Realm. I am not too sure as the next realm doesn't belong to the 10 lands and I would have to enter the 9 skies. I haven't entered, so I am not sure whether or not I have broken through. Lu Qingfeng said slowly. But I have easily defeated all those stage 33 people who I have met, which is why there is a high chance that I am above them. Lu Qingfeng said seriously. Li Xiandao listened on without saying a word. Lu Qingfeng continued, I don't have any regrets at the moment, but I have a wish that I hope the Bank of the Universe can help me with. You knew about the Bank of the Universe from before? Li Xiandao asked. I found it in a book left by a late expert. I thought that it was a joke and really didn't expect it to be true. Lu Qingfeng nodded, filled with disbelief. Even with his current cultivation, he couldn't help but feel amazed by the Bank of the Universe. Li Xiandao was helpless. Yet another expert wrote about the Bank of the Universe before he died. He had faced another such person over in Dali Land. The Bank of the Universe was mysterious in the eyes of normal people, but if one wanted to investigate it, there were tracks to be found. So, what is your wish? Li Xiandao asked calmly. I want to find some help to strengthen my sect's defense. Lu Qingfeng said. Strengthen your sect's defense. Li Xiandao was confused. Wouldn't it be simple for a stage 33 expert like himself to strengthen his own defense? Right, I have strengthened it several times, but I am still unsatisfied with it. Lu Qingfeng sighed. Li Xiandao looked at him and asked curiously, with you there, you still need to strengthen the defense. With an expert who exceeded stage 33 there to defend, who would dare to offend them? I want to fly up to the skies. Lu Qingfeng sighed. I wanted to 1,000 years ago, but the sect had tried their best to nurture me. They gave me all their resources and the other experts weren't able to grow. I couldn't abandon them, so I protected the sect for 1,000 years. Lu Qingfeng explained. Li Xiandao nodded. During these 1,000 years, I worked hard to develop disciples and managed to produce 2 Legend Realm ones. I also arranged for a stage 30 monster to defend the mountain. I also strengthened the formations of the sect several times. Lu Qingfeng explained one by one. That is already quite decent. Li Xiandao said. As long as the sect didn't ask for trouble, they would definitely be able to last. But I tried. If someone wanted to attack the sect, all of these wouldn't hold up to a simple blow. Lu Qingfeng said solemnly. Li Xiandao blinked. Big brother, you are someone exceeding stage 33, so wouldn't it be normal for those things to not be able to block you? Lu Qingfeng continued, I tried 9 times and it couldn't stand a single strike. If I flew up and an enemy came, just someone at stage 33, my sect would be turned to dust. As long as they cultivate properly, they won't meet such a person. Li Xiandao knew his reason for coming to the Bank of the Universe. Worry. Lu Qingfeng was really worried. He felt like the moment he left, the sect would be destroyed right away. This was why he tried so much to strengthen the sect defenses to gain some psychological security. He even wanted to enter the Bank of the Universe. Li Xiandao didn't know what to say. Anyway, he wouldn't reject a guest. So, you want me to help you strengthen the defense? Li Xiandao tapped the table and asked calmly. Right, strengthen the defense. Lu Qingfeng nodded. How much do I need to strengthen it? Li Xiandao asked. Till it can defend against me. Lu Qingfeng said firmly. Li Xiandao looked at him speechlessly. If it could defend against him, then it wasn't a defensive formation but a turtle shell. Sure. But Li Xiandao agreed right away. Can you really? Lu Qingfeng looked at Li Xiandao in shock. Yes, I can, but it'll depend on the price that you are able and willing to pay. Li Xiandao asked calmly, and he was really confident. He might not have been so confident in the past, but now that Li Xiandao unlocked the Seal Mountain Peak, there were numerous seals on the mountain and many of them were defense seals. Li Xiandao could learn them to help strengthen Lu Qingfeng's sect. If he spent a little effort, it wouldn't be a problem to fend off Lu Qingfeng. But all this would depend on the price that Lu Qingfeng could pay. What do you think you need to pay for formations that can defend against you? Li Xiandao asked. Lu Qingfeng thought about it and said, I can give you God Spirit Meridians. Li Xiandao asked, how many? Lu Qingfeng raised one finger. 10,000. Li Xiandao guessed. Right, 10,000 God Spirit Meridians, all of which are above average. Lu Qingfeng nodded his head. These are what I accumulated over 8,000 years. I have swept many places to get them. Lu Qingfeng nodded his head. Swept. Li Xiandao expression changed. Did you offend many people so once you ascend, you are afraid your sect can't survive at all? Li Xiandao guessed. Lu Qingfeng gave an awkward laugh and waved his hands, I was young and dumb. It has passed a long time ago and those people are still angry about it. I am so speechless. At this point, Li Xiandao knew why he was so stubborn about the defenses. If he didn't strengthen it, then his sect was definitely getting wiped. 10,000 God Spirit Meridians, you have a deal. Although Li Xiandao knew the reason, he didn't care. He just needed to get the God Spirit Meridians and he would help strengthen the defense. Sign the contract. Li Xiandao told Seven to pass him a contract. In the Bank of the Universe, Seven was in charge of everything. Seven walked in and passed the contract to Li Xiandao before standing aside. Lu Qingfeng looked at Seven, filled with awe. He retracted his gaze and stared at the contract. The contract stated really clearly that Li Xiandao would help strengthen Lu Qingfeng's sect defense and it would reach its extreme. Then, Lu Qingfeng would pay the Bank of the Universe 10,000 God Spirit Meridians. After confirming both sides, Lu Qingfeng signed. In 3 days, I will go to your sect to strengthen the defense. After that, you shall check it and if it passes you will then give me the God Spirit Meridian. Li Xiandao took the contract and passed it to Seven. Lu Qingfeng nodded and said with gratitude, I will await your arrival. Li Xiandao watched as he left and then he said to Seven, I am heading to Seal Mountain Peak and I don't think I will be coming down in the next few days. Chapter 246, Come and Try. Seal Mountain Peak. Li Xiandao arrived here and looked at the mountain that pierced into the clouds. The mountain was huge and each step he took would cause numerous seals to appear at the bottom of his feet. All the seals looked different. Some were simple, some were complicated, and there was a huge variety of them. Li Xiandao looked at a seal. It could be easily formed with 2 strokes. It was a wind element seal that could birth a breeze. It could bring cold air on a hot summer day. These were the most basic seals. Li Xiandao continued to climb and he saw were more and more complex ones. In the era of legends, many people worshipped all sorts of things like strong spirits and gods, using them as totems. Then, the spirits and gods taught them some simple laws which end up being the seals. Li Xiandao recalled the books that he read in the 10,000 Country Book Depository. No one made it explicitly clear regarding the origin of seals but everyone recognized that it came from that era. Those gods and natural spirits gave humans the most primitive seals which they started to research, expand, and strengthen. They were able to use that to peek into the Dao and reach the essence of cultivation. After the humans got good at seals, they started to live independently without worshipping gods and spirits anymore. This infuriated them and led to many wars. During the Legend era, seals had reached the peak. It was a war against the natural spirits and gods. Now, everyone and everything from that era was gone. All the grievances had all disappeared. The only thing left was the seals to describe those times. Li Xiandao walked on the mountain range and looked at the numerous seals. The complicated patterns and mysterious layouts were really eye-catching to him. For example, Li Xiandao just needed to stare at a defense seal with 100,000 patterns for 3 seconds to remember it all. The 100,000 pattern arrangement couldn't go wrong. Each pattern had to be at a specific place and angle to form a perfect restriction. This was a really complicated matter. But Li Xiandao took just a few looks and was able to digest it with his eyes closed. Li Xiandao remembered these defense seals in his mind. Who knew how many of such seals were carved into Seal Mountain Peak? Li Xiandao stepped forwards, stopping intermittently. He would close his eyes to think before moving on. The seals were all really strong but Li Xiandao mainly focused on defensive ones. Once he comprehended enough defense seals, Li Xiandao could complete the trade. 3 days later, Li Xiandao walked around the entire mountain and learned all the defense seals within. There was one inside which was made up of 90 million patterns. Li Xiandao looked at it and felt his head hurt. The key was that the 90 million were stacked together to form a flower that was extremely beautiful. The further up he walked, the more patterns the seals had. They were more complicated but they were more beautiful. Flowers, trees, lightning, wind, beasts, mountains. These seals all returned to their quietest and most primitive states. Primitive was the most beautiful state. Li Xiandao looked at it and felt like his head was about to explode. Luckily, he had remembered all the complicated seals. Just 1% of the seals I remember is enough for Lu Qingfeng, not to mention how the seals could be pieced together. Li Xiandao was really confident and he could definitely complete Lu Qingfeng's request. A seal was able to change. The basic small seal could transform into many complicated seals. But they could also be pieced together. Lightning and wind together could form a formation that described the rage of the heavens. Rain and sword energy seals combined could form the best assassination seals. Seals were never about one versus one combat, just like how people in the world didn't fight alone and often connected with something else in the outside world. Only by combining things and helping one another could the seals give off huge strength. Li Xiandao just needed to take out 1% of the seals and line them all out to build a giant seal formation. He was certain he would be able to block Lu Qingfeng. This was why he exited the Seal Mountain Peak and headed to Lu Qingfeng's sect. Lu Qingfeng's sect was in Eternal Land. This surprised Li Xiandao as he thought that he would be someplace else. At the same time, Li Xiandao also saw that Eternal Land was strong and had experts stronger than Stage 33. Feather Transformation God Dynasty was just an average power here and there were other giant sects. Lu Qingfeng's sect was to the southwest of Eternal Land and was built on a mountain range. It was called Heaven and Earth Sect. On the morning of the third day, Lu Qingfeng waited for Li Xiandao at the entrance. When Li Xiandao used the space-crossing seal to appear here, Lu Qingfeng was delighted. He walked forwards, Master of the Bank of the Universe, can you help add to the defenses now? Li Xiandao nodded, open the defense formation. Lu Qingfeng waved his hands to activate Heaven and Earth Sect's defensive formation. Explosion! A layer of white light shone down and turned into a light cover that wrapped up Heaven and Earth Sect. Li Xiandao looked at the white glow and instantly saw many talismans, seals, restrictions, etc. Lu Qingfeng didn't lie. He really did add many things in. The current defensive formation would definitely block out people who were just in Legend Realm. But for those above stage 20, if they went all out, they would definitely be able to shatter it. Moreover, there were other top experts like Lu Qingfeng. So how can you strengthen it? Lu Qingfeng asked with worry. If he didn't settle this, then he would be really uneasy and didn't dare to fly up. The moment he left, Heaven and Earth Sect would be gone. This would be a huge problem and regret for Lu Qingfeng. Li Xiandao nodded his head and said confidently, since I am here, of course, I am able to. He stepped out and his body appeared above the formation at the entrance. True Qi turned into many Dao patterns that started to gather to form many defensive seals. If someone attacks, increase the defense in folds. If someone attacks, reduce attack strength. If someone attacks, deal recoil damage. If damaged, self-repair. All sorts of seals. Li Xiandao pieced them together to form a formation, making an invincible defensive fortress. Li Xiandao gave it a name. Turtle Shell. If injured it could repair itself and deal recoil damage. If it wasn't a turtle shell, then what was it? Its defensive stats were high. Now that the other stats were increased, the overall stability of the formation increased too. Li Xiandao landed and looked at Lu Qingfeng, come, test its strength. If you break it, then it is my fault. Li Xiandao said confidently. Chapter 247, Lingran's Family. Lu Qingfeng was instantly delighted. Li Xiandao's words were really firm and when he heard it, he felt really confident. Hong! Lu Qingfeng flew outside of the formation. His hand formed a giant sword which he slashed down. Explosion! Sword energy pushed aside the clouds and smashed into the defensive formation. Dong dong dong! The defensive formation gave off a bright light. From the point of impact, it started to spread to the entire formation. The damage reduction seal started to come into play and half of its strength was reduced. The defense strengthening seal started to work and the defense of the formation increased. The crack repairing seal started to work and the barrier that Lu Qingfeng shattered was being repaired. Just like that, in less than 3 seconds, Lu Qingfeng's attacks were blocked by the defensive formation. Great, this is fantastic, Lu Qingfeng said emotionally. One strike of mine before would have collapsed the formation. I didn't expect that now after you modified it, the formation would have actually become so strong. Lu Qingfeng praised Li Xiandao's skills. Li Xiandao stood with his arms behind his back. He wore a mask and the wind blew his clothes. He said, "Now, can you give me the 10,000 God Spirit Meridians?" Lu Qingfeng nodded, "No worries, I will hand the God Spirit Meridian to you now." Lu Qingfeng didn't hesitate and was even happy to hand it over. The 10,000 God Spirit Meridians were precious, and in Eternal Land, they were considered a huge sum. But this sum in exchange for no more worries was something that satisfied Lu Qingfeng. In the next second, he passed a storage treasure to Li Xiandao. "Bank Master, here are 10,000 God Spirit Meridians. Thank you for your help." Lu Qingfeng was filled with gratitude. Li Xiandao rejected his thanks and said, "It was a fair trade and we both got what we needed. I didn't help you, so you don't have to thank me. This was something that I needed to do. No matter what, I am at ease now, and in a short time, I will be flying up." Lu Qingfeng looked up into the sky and heaved a sigh of relief. "Flying up to the 9 skies, congratulations." Li Xiandao looked into the sky. Who knew how far away the 9 skies were up above? "Thank you." Lu Qingfeng hesitated, "Bank Master, I am about to leave Eternal Land. Before we leave, let me tell you some news." Li Xiandao looked towards him and asked curiously, "What news?" Lu Qingfeng landed into heaven and earth sect and didn't want to speak about it in the sky. Li Xiandao landed and walked on the mountain path. Beside him was a bamboo forest. Lu Qingfeng said solemnly, "Bank Master, I am telling you this information privately." Li Xiandao nodded and listened. Within Eternal Land, the Dao has started to tremble. "Have you noticed?" Lu Qingfeng asked. Li Xiandao's face became solemn and he shook his head, "I didn't notice." "When did it start?" 3 days ago when I entered the Bank of the Universe." Lu Qingfeng said. Li Xiandao nodded his head, "I went to ancient Buddha land that day and wasn't in Eternal Land." "What happened?" "Someone came down from the skies." Lu Qingfeng pointed his hand forwards and said. Li Xiandao's expression turned solemn, "Someone came down from the 9 skies." "That's right, I got the watch that day and was worried whether or not I should go. So, I started to prop his eyes and peek into the secrets of the heavens." Lu Qingfeng led Li Xiandao into a pavilion in the forest and invited him to sit down. "What did you see?" Li Xiandao sat down and asked. "I didn't see anything. I saw many people heading down to Eternal Land. I didn't dare to be careless." Lu Qingfeng was afraid. "How many?" Li Xiandao frowned. "Why had so many people come down?" "At least a dozen." Lu Qingfeng nodded his head and said solemnly. "That's a lot." Li Xiandao asked, "Is it a family?" "Yes, it is." Lu Qingfeng nodded. "Who?" Li Xiandao frowned. Which family had led so many people down? Was it for the dragon tooth rice? "The Ling family." Lu Qingfeng said. Li Xiandao frowned. The moment he mentioned the Ling family, he thought about someone. A person who wanted to kill him. Ling Ren. Ling family's human celestial. To kill her, Li Xiandao came to Eternal Land from ancient desolate land. The first thing he wanted was to kill her. But because of the northern region Lord and Feather Transformation God dynasty, Li Xiandao put the matter to the side. What he didn't expect was that the Ling family had such a strong background and could lead dozens of people down from the 9 skies. "You have a conflict with the Ling family?" Lu Qingfeng saw that Li Xiandao was quiet and asked. "It is just a small one." Li Xiandao waved. At the moment, for him and the Bank of the Universe, Ling Ren's matter was small. She was a human celestial that he could kill with a slap. The reason why Li Xiandao didn't kill her was because he would delay other matters. "Since it is a small conflict, then I think that you shouldn't clash with them now. After all, it isn't good to offend them." Lu Qingfeng suggested. "Okay, I shall pay attention." Li Xiandao agreed, but that was it. Could dozens of people from above scare him? He killed over 30 people who came down from the 9 skies, so the dozen Ling family members were nothing to him. Apart from the dozen of them, has anyone else come down? Li Xiandao asked. "I don't know." I was just fortunate and happened to see it by chance. The other people must have been sneaky and I can't continue staring at it every single second. Lu Qingfeng shook his head. Li Xiandao understood. Those words were true. Those who came down were careful and no one would try to announce it to the world. If he did that, the heavens would kill him with lightning. Who knows what their purpose in coming down is? Anyway, I have been having a bad feeling, so I wanted to rush up into the nine skies to get stronger. Lu Qingfeng sighed. Li Xiandao knew why they had come down but he didn't tell Lu Qingfeng. After all, it was better for someone who wanted to fly up not to join in. They might be thinking about expanding in the 10 lands. Li Xiandao gave a reason and then stood up to say goodbye. He knew the secret and didn't want to stay here. Goodbye. Lu Qingfeng sent Li Xiandao away. Li Xiandao waved his hand and stepped out. A 6-star formation appeared and brought him into the Bank of the Universe. Within it, the moment Li Xiandao stepped in, he said, "Northern Region Lord, Chu Bai, come over to see me." Chapter 248, Fate is hard to describe. In the Bank of the Universe, Li Xiandao summoned the Northern Region Lord Gong Yu and Chu Bai. These two people were related to Ling Ren. One was her clone and the other was her first love. Now that the clone had given birth to its own consciousness and her first love was even chasing the clone, Ling Ren herself had nothing to do with it at all anymore. Ling Ren was an old ancestor of the Ling family and definitely knew about something. It was reasonable for Li Xiandao to send the two of them to investigate. The current Li Xiandao was at the peak of the 10 lands and he didn't care much about handling Ling Ren. What Li Xiandao cared more about was the number of people who had come down. Was their goal for coming down the same? Was it because of the dragon tooth rice? If it was, that meant that Dalan Temple was not the only one with news about the dragon tooth rice. It had started to spread and those powers sent people down so as to get a portion of the spoils. This was a little worrying. In just a moment, the Northern Region Lord and Chu Bai walked in front of Li Xiandao. "Master!" The two people shouted. Li Xiandao nodded his head, "I called you here because I have something for the two of you to handle." "Master, just instruct us." "What is happening?" The Northern Region Lord Gong Yu said right away. When he heard this, he was going to head out with Chu Bai. He was pumped up. Chu Bai didn't object to him so much anymore. If they went out a few times and deepened their feelings with one another, the Northern Region Lord Gong Yu would stand a higher chance. This was why he was really happy. Chu Bai said, "It is my honor to be able to help Master." "What does Master want Chu Bai to do?" Li Xiandao started to tell them about the dragon tooth rice. Throughout the process, Chu Bai and the Northern Region Lord's expressions became solemn. They also understood how important dragon tooth rice was. When Li Xiandao talked about Ling Ren and her family, Chu Bai and the Northern Region Lord Gong Yu's expression became ugly. The two of them didn't want to come into contact with Ling Ren. "I know that the two of you don't want to come into contact with her but everything has to end." Chu Bai, Li Xiandao shouted. Chu Bai was shaken to her senses. She straightened her back and said, "Master, Chu Bai is here. Go find Ling Ren and ask what their goal is for coming down. Then, kill her. From now onwards, you are the one and only Chu Bai. Let Ling Ren turn to dust." Li Xiandao said coldly. Letting the clone kill the main body would wipe out the main body's influence on the clone. This was Li Xiandao's way of dealing with Ling Ren. Otherwise, with his current cultivation, he could just slap them and make both Ling Ren and her family suffer deeply. Li Xiandao left her alive partly because of Chu Bai. As a clone, she would have to face the main body either way. Chu Bai looked at Li Xiandao. Her face was ashen white and she was slightly stunned. Kill Ling Ren. Since her consciousness was birthed, that had been her dream. The reason why a dream was separate from reality was because it was hard to make it come true. Chu Bai had been killed by Ling Ren 10 times. Each time, Chu Bai used the human celestial pill that she got from the Bank of the Universe to block it. Ling Ren didn't show mercy. She failed 10 times, so she tried again. This was why on the 11th time, Chu Bai died. Without the human celestial pill, she had just died so easily. She had been dead for 50 years before Li Xiandao saved her. But just like that, Ling Ren tried to kill her for the 12th time. Luckily, Li Xiandao helped to block for her, allowing her to escape death. So, one could say that since Chu Bai birthed consciousness, she had been tangling with Ling Ren. During this period, Ling Ren killed her 12 times, leaving a psychological barrier in her heart. This was also the reason why Chu Bai was quite stunned. Li Xiandao wanted her to kill Ling Ren. It wasn't that she was worried that she couldn't complete it, but because Ling Ren was still at human celestial realm while Chu Bai was at legend realm stage 21. She could smash her with one hand. Chu Bai realized that, and after following Li Xiandao, she improved really quickly. Ling Ren and her weren't on the same level anymore. Master, Chu Bai accepts your orders. Chu Bai nodded her head. She knelt down on one knee and said firmly. The Northern Region Lord knelt down and said, Master, Gong Yu accepts your orders too. Go. Be careful. The Ling family are experts from the Nine Skies, so don't be careless. Li Xiandao nodded. Chu Bai and Gong Yu left. Li Xiandao looked on as they left before taking off his mask. Did they come down for some other reason, or was it because Dalian Temple couldn't keep a secret? Li Xiandao started to guess. Although there was a high chance that they had come for the dragon tooth rice, what if that wasn't the case? So, Li Xiandao sent Chu Bai to ask Ling Ren. After she found out, she could just kill her to take revenge for her coming to Eternal Land in the first place. Apart from the Ling family, how many others came down? Li Xiandao frowned. He closed his eyes and communicated with the Dao. At the moment, Li Xiandao had exceeded Legend Realm stage 33 and reached a peak. He was improving every moment, and even when he breathed his cultivation was increasing. This wasn't an exaggeration. When Li Xiandao looked at the seals on the Seal Mountain peak, the more he saw them, the more he comprehended. His realm was galloping forwards without turning its head back. Now, when Li Xiandao closed his eyes, his soul would be able to immerse with heaven and earth, connecting with the Dao. In the ocean of the Dao, Li Xiandao could swim freely. Li Xiandao was searching for whether or not there was anyone who had snuck down. He couldn't see with his naked eye, but when his soul merged into heaven and earth, Li Xiandao could sense it. As long as someone tried to sneak down at this time, Li Xiandao could use the traces to find them. Even if these people tried to hide, they would be focusing on the world laws and not on a specific person. The world laws wouldn't focus on a certain place like Li Xiandao. Its scale was huge and really orderly. It would be in charge of the entire world, which was why Li Xiandao could stare at them and find them, but the world laws couldn't. The Dao ocean was really calm, and Li Xiandao's soul sat silently within in a vast Dao ocean. Hong! Suddenly, huge waves rose up in a certain part of the ocean. But in an instant, the giant wave stopped. It was as if nothing had happened at all. The world laws wouldn't be wary because of a slight Dao ocean fluctuation. But Li Xiandao would. He sat up and looked in that direction. Eternal Land. It was still over at Eternal Land. Li Xiandao couldn't understand what was going on. Is the dragon tooth rice going to appear in Eternal Land? Otherwise, why are all of them running towards Eternal Land? Li Xiandao's soul was like lightning that shot towards the wave. As expected, someone was sneaking over. Not one, but a group. Li Xiandao focused and saw that they were from the same sect. Dalian Temple. Li Xiandao was delighted. This was fate. He just decided to stare into the Dao ocean and saw Dalian Temple people sneaking over. Fate was just so hard to describe. Chapter 249, World Cross or Die. The Dao ocean was far away from the actual world, but it was still tightly connected with it. Dalian Temple was sneaking over. Li Xiandao noticed them over in the Dao ocean, but they didn't sense Li Xiandao. At the peak of a giant mountain was a Buddhist temple. There were a few monks in the temple. Around the temple were farmlands and vegetable gardens. Dozens of monks were living here, and all of them lived simple lives. The people around all knew about the hall and also about the monks here. The monks were ordinary people, and the civilians would often offer up incense. Everyone thought that this was an ordinary temple. No one knew that this place was actually the backup plan that Dalian Temple laid out 3,000 years ago. After stabilizing themselves in ancient Buddha land, the higher UPS in Dalian Temple were worried that if Dragon Tooth Rice didn't appear in ancient Buddha land, then wouldn't they have lost out? So, they started to lay out their plan, letting one of the disciples they recruited in the 10 lands enter the various worlds to build temples. They just had to ensure that they could lead down the Dalian Temple monks from the 9 skies. Dalian Temple's hand was beautiful. After Dalian Temple in ancient Buddha land was destroyed, although Dalian Temple in the 9 skies was furious, they were planning in secret on how to descend to the other worlds. What they didn't expect was that they would meet Li Xiandao once more. Li Xiandao didn't attack right away and just watched on quietly. These monks were chattering and talking about their own thoughts. Li Xiandao heard many secret techniques. We have finally descended peacefully. The various masters said that there is a high chance that the dragon tooth rice will descend in eternal land. Is that true? A middle-aged monk asked. His cultivation exceeded Legend Realm Stage 33. He was actually on the same level as Lu Qingfeng. People who could come down shouldn't have been too weak, otherwise, why would they bother to come down? It is true. News of Dragon Tooth Rice has spread out. Not only us, but people from other worlds and powers have also sent people down. We have to be careful. A monk nodded. Why would it spread? We have planned for this for 10,000 years. An old monk sighed and said regretfully. If nothing unexpected happened, Dragon Tooth Rice would definitely be theirs. But if you didn't want accidents to happen, accidents would definitely happen. First was the people who Li Xiandao led to destroy Dalan Temple in ancient Buddha land. That was their biggest base. Then, news was spread out and numerous powers all wanted a part of the spoils. All of this was bad news for Dalan Temple. If not for the backup plan they laid out 3,000 years ago, they would have only been able to watch and not participate in all of this. The people who came down must be amazing. I also heard that Hunshan Path's little demon has come too. A monk was worried. Not only that, but all the geniuses have come. Heaven-slaying sword sex top sword master Lu Minjiu, Aotian sex Aiju, God spirit sex Guling, emotion desire sect Beiyu, and also Big River Sword's descendant is also here, a monk counted. If we fight them, can we win? Someone asked worryingly. We won't fight them. There will definitely be a lot of dragon tooth rice. We don't need to get much, just a few grains and we can slowly plant them. An eagle-shaped nose, old monk with a dark gaze said. Right, our goal is to kill that arrogant fellow. He dared to spoil our Dalan Temple plans and stop us from coming down. He is just asking for death. A muscular monk shouted. The monks all around were pumped up. Although Dalan Temple isn't considered strong up in the nine skies, we aren't weak either. He actually dared to humiliate us like that. He is even a lowly world cultivator. He is just asking to die. This person has to die. Even if he is strong, with Master Bowen and Master Bila together, he will definitely die. Right, he will definitely die. How are we going to find him? There is no need to worry. Since he is so strong he will definitely appear. When it happens, we will directly kill him. Master Bowen was the eagle nose-shaped monk and he spoke with a cold tone. When Li Xiandao heard this, he had a rough understanding of the situation. As expected, Dragon Tooth Rice was going to appear in Eternal Land. News of it had also spread out and many powers wanted a part of it. Of course, Dalan Temple's main goal was to kill Li Xiandao and then get a part of the prize. Since that is the case, then how can I disappoint all of you? Li Xiandao muttered. His soul returned to his body. He opened his eyes and placed the mask on his face. The soft mask stuck to Li Xiandao's skin. The black and white ink made Li Xiandao look much more elegant. In the next second, he was about to step forwards. Hong! An extremely complicated six-colored star seal appeared. It was made up of many Dao threads. Space-crossing seal. Right as Li Xiandao was about to step forwards, Seven walked over and asked, Where are you going? To kill someone. Li Xiandao said really simply and his body disappeared. Seven muttered, which unlucky fellow offended him. In an unnamed Buddhist hall on an unknown mountain, a number of monks were gathered together and discussing the previous topic. When that person appears, I will twist and break his neck. I will rip his intestines out and tie a knot with his throat. I will let him know how amazing the Dalan Temple is. A muscular and giant Master Bailey said ferociously. If not for his bald head and monk clothing, he would have looked like a butcher. Now that I am here, how are you going to break my neck and rip my intestines out? Li Xiandao appeared on the stone steps and heard these words. He laughed coldly. Who is there? Master Bailey opened his eyes wide. He stared at the stone stairs like a fierce bear. The other monks were staring too and they didn't blink their eyes at all. Hong! They could sense that the person who spoke was like a giant ocean, and a terrifying aura surged towards them. The first to get hit by the aura was Master Bailey. Explosion! He only felt that the aura was really strong and it made him back out. At that moment, it felt like he had seen a giant star that struck him with a really scary power. Master Bailey shook and returned back to his senses. What he had seen just now were just illusions. Who are you? Master Bei Li hollered in rage. Thick black hair stood up all over his body and he felt threatened. A lethal threat. Da-da-da. Footsteps spread forth as Li Xiandao walked up the stairs. Am I the reason why you came down? But, all of you have forgotten that I said that all world crossers would die. Li Xiandao spoke in a cold and sinister tone. His gaze was really sharp. Chapter 250, Talisman Sword. Li Xiandao's words were like a slap to these people's faces. It caused Master Bei Li's face to become red and he was filled with rage. A lowly world cultivator like you dares to say such things. Master Bei Li stared at Li Xiandao in rage. He couldn't hide the flames of anger within. He was infuriated by Li Xiandao's statement about how people who came down would die. The other monks who were angered all stared at Li Xiandao in an unfriendly manner. Who were they? They were monks from Dalan Temple from the Nine Skies. They were monks that Dalan Temple spent a lot of effort nurturing, so weren't they much nobler than a lowly world cultivator? The 10 Lands was just a place where trash was gathered. If Dragon Tooth Rice hadn't appeared in the 10 Lands, people from the Nine Skies wouldn't even bother to look down. Your aura is strong but you are still a cultivator from the 10 Lands. What gives you the right to be so arrogant in front of us? Master Bowen said coldly. Although they were shocked at Li Xiandao's aura, were they afraid? No one believed that Li Xiandao alone could kill all of them. Especially with Master Bei Li and Master Bowen here who was quite strong even in the Nine Skies. It was hard for Li Xiandao to fight his way out of it. You seem to look down on the 10 Lands like all the cultivators in the 10 Lands are trash but you are all now in the 10 Lands and are restricted by the world Dao. Can you use all your strength? Li Xiandao was filled with disdain. He was facing over 30 monks alone but he feared nothing. Dalan Temple sent 20 people and along with the dozens from before, there were a total of 30 monks surrounding Li Xiandao. White clouds surrounded the mountain peak and a cold wind blew. Sunlight shone down like a Buddhist light. When Master Bei Li saw this, the fear and terror in his heart towards Li Xiandao lessened significantly. Even if we are unable to use all our strength, it is still really easy to kill you. Master Bei Li said coldly as he clenched his fists. Is that so? Li Xiandao laughed calmly and waved his hands. Come, you can have a try. Let's see if all of you can kill me so easily. Li Xiandao always felt that rather than talking big, it was better if they just fought. Okay, I will come and kill you. Master Bei Li's muscular body stopped and then flames rose up. His true chi was exploding. Dong! Master Bei Li stepped out and the ground caved in. His body shot forwards towards Li Xiandao. When the giant and burly man ran forward, it just looked like a black wild boar charging. Explosion! Aggressive like lightning and explosive like flames. In the next second, Master Bei Li was in front of Li Xiandao. His momentum and explosiveness turned into a fist. Great strength Panwu fist. Panwu was an ancient expert who comprehended heaven and earth, refining it into the 4 seasons and yin-yang. He turned it into a technique that became really famous. Great strength Panwu. This was his technique. Great strength Panwu fist was a strong fist technique that Master Bei Li learned. He also used this technique to become famous in Dalan Temple and was given the title of Master. Master Bei Li paid a lot of attention to Li Xiandao. Or rather, he was scared off by Li Xiandao's aura and a terrifying thought appeared in his mind. He had to quickly kill this mysterious, masked man. If not, the outcome would be catastrophic. Although he didn't know what gave him that feeling, Master Bei Li believed it. The moment he attacked, he used his purest and strongest technique. Great strength Panwu fist. Hong! This fist was filled with Master Bei Li's terrifying momentum and along with his own strength, he was able to utilize the power of great strength Panwu fist. 3 merged into 1. This fist was turned to a giant and terrifying thunder ring. Explosive fist giving off thunder. This was a really exquisite fist technique. It was unbelievable strong. Explosion. Behind Master Bei Li there was an aggressive aura that turned into a mysterious figure. It was 10 meters tall and really terrifying, opening up a new space. This was Panwu himself. Kong! Master Bei Li's strike had reached the limit that the 10 Lands could accept. Rib! The space was ripped open and it looked really shocking. Die! Master Bei Li hollered in rage. He wanted to smash Li Xiandao's brains. Explosion! At that moment, Li Xiandao felt like he was facing an apocalyptic world. The power of an entire world surged in front of him. Li Xiandao focused and then raised his hand, For all you world crossers, I prepared a sword. Please taste it. The sword energy all around Li Xiandao surged into his fingers. Sizzle. Sword energy provoked the surrounding space. Numerous threads of sword energy appeared and each one of them was like a true sword. The key was the sword in Li Xiandao's hand. Many Dao patterns from Li Xiandao's body surged into that sword. Rib. The space 10 feet around Li Xiandao was ripped open and the space currents ravaged the area. Li Xiandao's clothing rustled and his hair danced. But he still stood tall like a spear. Only by standing still could one's sword be stable. Numerous Dao patterns surged into the sword and Li Xiandao learned them all on Seal Mountain Peak. Could defensive seals turn into attacks? Li Xiandao felt like they could. The best defense in the world was to kill your enemy and wipe out danger from the very start. So, defensive seals were sharp swords in Li Xiandao's eyes. Talisman sword, first style. Defensive sword. This was the sword technique that Li Xiandao spent 3 days in Seal Mountain Peak creating. When he said that he was improving every second, he wasn't bragging. Li Xiandao was really improving. Clang! A sword flew out from his fingers. The sword was 5 feet long and it didn't have an actual handle. The handle of the sword was Li Xiandao's fingers. Talisman sword first style. This was the first time Li Xiandao had used it. Hong! He stepped forwards and pointed forward. The talisman sword smashed into Master Bei Li's great strength Panmu fist. Explosion! The two of them used strength far more than the limits of this world. This clash ripped a huge hole in the sky. Like a storm, it swept the surrounding area and covered some of the ordinary monks. At the center, Li Xiandao pointed right at Master Bei Li's fist. Kaka! The sound of broken bones rang out and reverberated in their ears. Li Xiandao's body didn't change and his fingers didn't even shake. One couldn't see any expressions from his covered face either. From his eyes, one could detect a bit of mocking intent. You have lost. In the next second, a terrifying power exploded out from Li Xiandao's fingers. Hong! Master Bei Li was shot forward and he coughed up blood. His arm was sliced off by Li Xiandao and blood spurted all over the ground.